And we are live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this. It is Thursday night. It is round table night, or one of two round table nights. We are actually going a little bit early because you guys decided to check in much sooner than before. And by the way, let's get up to 100 likes, people, because YT being YT and all that, today's video didn't do so well. And I want people to like this because we want you to have a good time. I am joined for the What If Roundtable, as usual, by my colleague Sophie B.
Hi.
As well as Haverok.
Hello.
We hope you enjoyed the new thumbnail design by our resident R&R artist, DBZ Trev. So we got a new design, which is incorporating the SB Powerhouse look and feel. And yeah, so... And of course, Haverok is the mascot of Bora Bora. So
Bora, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, as you can see, if you are new to the roundtables, you can have your what ifs suggested to us, and if you leave a super chat, because we do get a lot of people, the text is going by really quickly, and this is the way we can actually have a record of what you said in a handy dandy list. So if you leave a super chat, it really helps support the channel in this time of confusion and uncertainty. Really does help a lot and really appreciate it. And also it means you get to have our own expert opinion. Well, I say expert in air quotes. We're just a bunch of nerds. Really.
We totally are.
And also
we are very much nerds around our round table. So.
Yeah, no, we are pretty much. And by the way, you can check out that Ranch and Papa shirt design. It is available now, and it's available until December 20. And then after that, it's gone. So if you want to get it, you can check out MasakoX/Xmas19. You can get it there. And remember, it's only available for 1 month. But yeah, let's get on. And oh wow, we've got a brand new stream boss already. Cameron Heaton is the new stream boss.
Thank you, Cameron.
Thank you, Cameron. You got in there with the right one. So, but yeah, we have a lot of what ifs to get through. So do be patient. It may take up to an hour to get through. What ifs? Because
maybe longer.
Maybe longer.
Maybe longer. It depends. But just
also for all of you posting in super chat, we always after the stream we always go through the chat. So don't worry.
Don't think you don't go unnoticed. But anyway, Old Vandalia 1998, welcome. Thank you very much for becoming a member. If you guys want to become a member too, you can press the join button below the video, and you can pick up certain perks.
You can be a masochist as well.
You can be a masochist. Yes, absolutely. But let us get on with our first message, which was from Ryguy92250. Yay, manga coverage! And that's literally it. And thank you very much, Ryguy. But basically, yeah, we are covering a lot more of the manga these days, so we are very, very curious about that. And that was the topic.
I'm very happy.
Yes, even though YouTube doesn't really want us you to see it, we are happy to make it. So today's video was mainly about that. And if you checked out the Chapter 54 review, which people really liked, it's good to see that, definitely. Then we got D21 Pro. First, I wanted to send some appreciation. Probably a dismal one, but what if the Z-Sword never broke? Would we have gotten a Rootin' Tootin' Sword and Wildy and Gohan? Well, we talked about this, we actually go through some of this before we came on air. But basically, in short, I think the summation of what we said was that you wouldn't have had the Elder Kai. Gohan would have gotten stronger, yeah, but he would have never had the ultimate form. The Bang would have never been down, as it was when we saw it. And maybe the fight with Super Buu, it would have been closer, but Gohan might have won by the skin of his teeth. Maybe.
Yeah, because admittedly, a lot of the problems with Buu in general were all centered around Gotenks wasting so much freaking time, and then eventually Super Buu getting frustrated and absorbing him when Gohan's ultimate form, all cocky and arrogant, showed up. Yep. If Gohan came down and wasn't arrogant, and Gotenks was never absorbed, he might have been able to deal with Super Buu in a timely manner, because he wouldn't have been overpoweringly, arrogantly stronger, but he might have been strong enough to defeat him.
Yeah, no, I would say pretty much that's the long and the short of it, really. And D21 Pro comes in with another one. What if Android 16 defied his initial programming? Again, we talked about this before. But basically, nothing really would change because he never really got to act out his initial programming. All he was going, I am supposed to be eliminating Son Goku. Even though I don't really do, and I bottle it the first chance I get to see him. Dang it, I sure wish I killed that Son Goku. So pretty much, it's that. He never really got to do it. And by the way, it's not me that voices Android 16, it's our friend Remix who also voices Kami. So, that, just so you know. But,
very talented.
Again, it's long or the short of it is, nothing really would have happened. He was just tagging along with 17 and 18, just because. But yeah, next one is, right, guy, just a question. So this is a general question. Can you explain what happened to Future Trunks after he went back to the future? Wasn't it just a void after Xena erased it? No, right, guy. This is something I'm particularly salty with. It's exclaimed that, oh, Whis is going, oh yes, your timeline's completely gone, but don't worry, we can just stick you in another timeline. But is there another Trunks and Mai there? Oh yes, absolutely. and it's like, I'm sure you can work it out. And then Mai's like, yeah, I guess. So yeah, there is one timeline where there is a Trunks and a Mai, 2 of them, and we're supposed to deal with it, and that's it. So no wonder Trunks is crying before the last time you see him. Internally, he's screaming.
He's lost everything except for Mai.
And he's even lost his own
relationship
uniquity.
is questionable.
And he's lost his own uniquity.
I mean, Trunks, my sister knows as an excellent assassin if you want to take someone's place, I believe the name was Hit, And
what happens if they accidentally get each other mixed up, when, alone time?
No.
Oh, that would never happen. They'd never move close enough to be confused.
Oh yeah,
with,
all the fan art have Mai basically, holding hands, and she blushes. Oh my god, that's scandalous! Just by holding hands.
Oh my god.
It's sweet, but like, oh come on. Seriously, I mean, I really want to write like kind of the more adult stuff, because Kemper Abridged back in those days, I loved writing that. I want to do more of that. But
you heard it here. You heard it here first, smoke, or folks. That Masako wants to get back into smut.
Oh, I mean, if you watch Kemper Abridged, you can understand why. And it's tasteful.
I understand. Tasteful is okay.
Absolutely.
Dragon Smart Z.
Okay. D21 Pro again. 2 more before I head to work. What if the other universes were in your alternate what-ifs in the Tournament of Power? And what if Goku got Ultra Instinct Omen earlier? Well, we'll tackle the second one. Oh, wow, okay, there's a new stream boss already? Oh, wow, okay. That suddenly, yes, I know, I should probably get Streamlabs OBS. I probably will look into that. I will look into it because it's a bit more optimized, but oh well.
We haven't gotten to your super chats yet, Mr. Manifesto. We're starting from the top.
Yeah, I did see your block of 4, so don't worry, we will get to them. Again, do have patience. If you haven't heard it yet, we haven't got to it yet. Literally, that is probably most likely the reason. 9 times out of 10. But alternate, what if Goku got Ultra Instinct Omen earlier? Well, truth be told, really, he might have beat Jiren sooner. Other than that, and as Sophie said in the pregame, it would have been even more boring, right?
Yeah, it would have been even more boring because I have opinions on Ultra Instinct and it being Goku's thing and all that other stuff. But I'm not going to get into it. It's far too long a rant.
But in theory, I do like the idea of it potentially being open to anyone who has it. There's more potential, at least. That's something. But yeah,
give it to Oolong. Give it to Oolong.
No.
Ultra Swine Instinct.
That's you're both incorrigible.
Okay, so and then the other one was, what if the other universes were your alternate what ifs in the Tournament of Power? So basically, it'd be just multiverse, just with with all my different what ifs, really. I would just say it'd be wacky, full of subversive comments, and people going like, "Oh my god, that guy looks so weird. What are you talking about? He looks just like you." No, he doesn't. That kind of stuff.
And if you're just talking about continuing the timelines for those what-ifs to the Tournament of Power, that's a bit cheeky, because they've already ended, and they've ended on pretty good notes.
Oh, well, don't worry. Well, Podo did one, and we'll get to that in a second. But Rai Guy has given 2 more super chats, just general support. So thank you so much, Rai Guy. Whiteoak comes in with the next one. This what if could change a lot. What if Jiro and his son weren't in the Red Ribbon Army? Well, okay, so if they were just if Jiro was just a general mad scientist, he would have to try and get a lot of funding, because he would need to have the backing of somebody else, or he'd have to, have come into some kind of money on his own.
We could very much have Dr. White, the situation between him and Dr. Briefs.
Oh, yeah, that could be interesting. So basically, you just end up having Mega Man.
And Jiro's son and Bulma being childhood friends,
Yeah, or if Toriyama, you just call him Mega Man.
Oh my gosh.
Like, some kind of super fighting robot, Mega Man. Or Mega Man. Oh, no.
You guys have all seen the Game Grumps episodes, I'm sure. You guys know what I could say, but I'm not going to say it for the sake of his stream.
By the way, Chrome Bison, thank you very much for becoming a member. Thank you. Next one is George J, similarly related to Jiro. What if Dr. Jiro upgraded Mercenary Tau during the Android saga? Would he be an energy absorber? Well, we did talk about this, and based on the technology with the androids and the absorption, that's something you have to fully make mechanical Tau. And it seems like he is a cyborg, so he is mostly mechanical. So he basically would have to go the whole 9 yards in that regard and become fully robotic. And would he be okay with that?
He lost so much. He lost so much of his body from that grenade strike. So he'd probably be fine with going full android at that point and just having his brain
and have a tongue that shoots poison darts.
Oh my gosh.
Because he can literally kill with his tongue. So there.
Yeah.
Yes, he can.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he probably would have energy absorption and some other secret things. So I would imagine that'd be the case. Whiteoak again. What if Earthlings had Zenkai boost but not the Saiyans? Well, I know Yamcha would just, cap the height of it. And I think Haverok and Sophie, you both said that, it would be so imbalanced if every single every single Earthling had it. So I think the best compromise that you could have is that it's something that all humans are born with, but they don't know how to tap into. And Roshi and Mutaito, like major martial artists, do.
Yeah, you'd have to turn it into a learnable skill. And honestly, if you were going to turn it into a learnable skill, you may as well have it accessible to everyone and not just Earthlings.
Yes.
Because when you get right down to it, there's a lot of story issues that are resolved only because of the Zenkai boosts that like Goku or Vegeta managed to obtain.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to play the sound, you got to have that spread out evenly.
Yeah, I want to pace myself with that. So I don't want to overdo it this early into the stream. We're barely 15 minutes in, so we got to be responsible with it. Then okay, Podo. Since a couple of months of training with heavenly beings was enough to give Vegeta God Key, what if the same thing had happened for Goku when he trained with King Kai in the Saiyan Saga? Well, I think it's quite safe to say that the Compass Kais, they're relatively low on the echelon. They're probably just barely above like basic Kai people. So Kai people like Kibito and stuff like that. He's just like a regular dude who is like the attendant to Shin. And the Compass Kais are above that. Then the Supreme Kais above that. And all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, you'd figure that the only ones who are probably likely to actually have any kind of influence when it comes to God Key would be the greater Kais as opposed to the lesser Kais, and even then you'd probably have to train on their homeworld in order to get anything. So the person who's most likely to get any kind of God Key benefit from training with a Kai would actually be Gohan in his training with Supreme Kai and the Elder Kai.
Yeah. No, I think that's early.
Also, Kibito, I think, isn't the best example, as I think, like, he gave Gohan some hard time. So, King Kai is around, what, 4,500? So, Kibito is kind of strong.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it was just an example. It's not the example.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yep.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Seton Tube. But Masako... Oh, hang on, I'll play the sound.
But Masako!
The Saiyans forgot one more thing in the what if Bardock convinced the Saiyans, and that is King Cold!
Unsubscribe!
Oh, well, okay, yeah. I'll level with you guys. I stopped the Bardock convinced the Saiyans things at that point, because that seemed like a natural end point. If I'd have kept it on going for much longer, it would have just lingered on for 2 or 3 years, and we have more and more what ifs coming, so... I've seen a fan made a list, and there's about like 30 of them. So I'm like, yeah, I kind of need to end some of them at a natural point. So maybe I might do an epilogue, but probably not. It's just a nice way to end it. It just seemed like a good way to end it, and a lot of you guys really were going like, Masako, don't stop it there! And I'm like, no, gotta leave you hungry there. You gotta leave you hungry, just like cassava, wink.
Oh my gosh, Mas. You couldn't resist. You just couldn't resist.
It's good.
I love writing these stories. It's great. I seriously. No, it'd be
Oh my god. What's with you guys today?
No, you gotta laugh in these times. Margaret Evans. Okay, what if Paragus and Broly hadn't been stranded? Well, I think you guys you guys
had a
came
great answer. Yeah.
No, the guy.
Yeah.
It's in short. Beats would have survived. That's for sure, because Paragus just said, "Oh, just drop it off at the next station." That's what you said, Sophie. And then Beats could go home. So yeah, Beats would have lived for a few more years, and then been blown
until
up
the
on
destruction of the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I personally think it could have ended. It would have just carried what happened in the original movie.
You know, if they if they left him at the space gas station, maybe he got enough points to win a trip away from planet Vegeta. Start a new life.
Maybe.
Moss thinks that it would have basically devolved into more or less the same plot point as in the original Broly movie. I personally think it would have probably been a bit more like Paragus and Broly would have gone into hiding in the underworld and the dark underbelly of the Empire out in the galaxy. They would have had more resources and a ship and stuff to get around, no doubt. I'm sure Paragus could have secured all of those things. And what would wind up happening is he would have trained Broly to have his vengeance against King Vegeta. But then when he returned to where Planet Vegeta used to be, with Broly in tow, he'd find out that, the planet's been destroyed by Frieza, or even if he just believed the rumors, which I doubt that he would believe the rumors of a straight asteroid strike or whatever, comet strike. So he would go and he'd shift his focus of his vengeance to Frieza and Prince Vegeta. And they'd probably wind up showing up at the most inopportune moment, which would be on planet Namek, and Broly would just kill everyone.
Yeah, I think we'll play the sound now. We'll play the sound now. My hard drive needs to take a moment. Give me a moment. There we go. There we go. It's been 20 minutes. I think we can use the sound now. So there you go. In short, that. Podo's up next. What if the Super Saiyan Kid, Goku, Vegeta's potential, and Bardock the Believable stories all continued their timelines up to the end of where the Tournament of Power would be? No. Because if the Tournament of Power would only happen in one of those. Because in the Super Saiyan Kid Goku, the reason why I stopped it there is because it pretty much just it started to coalesce back with the original story. The only difference is that Goku's slightly stronger. Maybe he's like a couple of steps ahead of the original story. Which means maybe he might have been able to beat certain people faster. But other than that, pretty much the same. Vegeta's potential... Vegeta's potential and Bardock the Believable, they're so different that the Tournament of Power would not exist.
And Universe 7 would have a higher mortal level in those two examples. Yeah,
exactly. Because, even if it's about the timeline, I think Bardock, the Saiyans probably would have beaten King Cold. Vegeta his empire would have become even more mighty, that kind of stuff. So yeah. I think it's in that regard. Devin Woods. What if Zangia turned good? I think, Sophie, you had a good answer for that.
The trick with something like What If Zangia Turned Good is that you'd have to give a bit more fleshing out in depth to the entirety of the whole Heron crew with Bojack and stuff. So you'd give them a little bit more depth, a little bit more characterization and stuff. And the trick to keeping Zangia around is you'd have to give her a reason to stick around. So take the stuff that she's there, because she's kind of a proxy for 18 in the movies. They always have those proxies.
Yep.
So she's kind of flirty with Krillin, and she's this antagonistic force. So use that. Make it to where she becomes kind of a rival for 18, because they both want that fortune, you know. They both want the money and that sort of thing, and they both have this attraction toward Krillin. So maybe have her show up in the World Martial Arts Tournament around the Buu Saga time and have her fight 18. And you could have a whole like scenario where she pokes a lot and prods at 18 and Krillin's relationship, just to kind of be a foil and an antagonistic force there.
Yeah, no, and if you remember from the old Budokai Tenkaichi games, we were having a bit of a laugh before. They have to change a response of 18 that says to Zangia. If you put Zangia versus 18 in some of the earlier copies of the game, she says something else. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. That's certainly something. And you guys, if you played it, you probably know already. Next up is Manifesto. What if Cooler had a silver form, different but similar to Golden Frieza, and it was stronger due to subversion? I see what you mean.
I mean, technically, Metal Cooler is a silver cooler.
Metal
right?
Cooler is a silver. Well, Metal Cooler is a silver cooler. It depends on how much the big Gatister is actually made out of.
Yeah.
So basically, if it was stronger due to subversion, yeah, I get it. Like silver, gold, haha, yeah. I do see where you're coming from there. Manifesto dislikes Golden Cooler, the form he has in Heroes. Let him have his own power. No. The whole point is that he basically wanted to prove, well, oh, if my brother can do this, then so can I. That's pretty much the only reason why he does it. He only does it to basically show, oh, I can do it much easier than my brother. So there you go. So that was the only reason he had it. But if he had his own other power, I mean, I think he had Metal Golden Cooler, I think, or something like that in Super Dragon Ball Heroes. So some kind of combination of the two. So I think that is his own power in a way. It's combining Meta Cooler and Golden Cooler in a way.
I mean, technically, Metal Cooler is his own thing, right?
Yeah.
The Legion of Coolers, so he already has his own thing in its fifth form. So Cooler has plenty of his own things, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's so true. Then Manifesto's got another one. He's got a few of these. What have we got on your left, aka Portal's endgame moment in Dragon Ball Super, with all the characters coming to help the heroes against a terrifying villain? Super Dragon Ball Heroes. That's pretty much what it is. Go and watch Super Dragon Ball Heroes or play the game.
And you know, like Spirit Bombs were always
Spirit Bombs, yeah,
for something like this. Like I remember how surprised I was to see 17 for the first time during the Buu saga, the Buu Spirit Bomb.
Yeah,
probably one of my favorite moments in that saga.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that'd be the case for everybody. So, yeah, no, absolutely. So I would say that'd be definitely the case. Manifesto again. What if Silver Cooler existed? I'd honestly want that. There is also fan art. Would that form ironically be stronger than Frieza in his golden form? Well, we've already said that, basically. Technically, if you wanted to go that way, then you would probably have it in a way that it would make him stronger, just to be different. So I think it's just going over what we said again. Manifesto again, two what ifs. What if Broly being the only one to use Wrathful form? Well, that seems to be the case already. He basically was able to tap into the powers of the Ozaru without the need of a tail. So I think that's pretty much he will be the only one that has that form. And then the other one, and other Z-Fighters found a way to catch up to Goku and Vegeta in terms of scaling somehow. Well, one thing that I found interesting from the manga, and a lot of people have pointed this out in the comments, is that the baddies aren't necessarily stronger, they're sneakier. They're being very shrewd in what they have, and they're able to use it to Fox are main guys, and that's basically what you got to do. What you got to do is think like them and have our heroes, who may not be as strong, beat people in different ways, like with Majora and Krillin with a very stinky sock, that kind of stuff. It's very Dragon Ball. You can do it and still be in character. You just need to think of different ways to defeat an opponent. So I think that answers the question. Red Dragon Force 2. What if instead of bringing Piccolo to Namek, Gohan, Krillin, and Dende wish for Porunga to heal up Goku? Goku and Vegeta 2 versus 1, Frieza maybe. That might have been actually one. That could have been one of the wishes they used on Porunga before he went Kaputski, pretty much.
Yeah.
But and then again, would he have had the power to do it? That's the thing. Yeah. Would he have had the power to be able to, recover Goku that much in that much space of time? And
I kind of feel like he probably could, because the only reason they didn't even use Dende was because they already had Goku in the machine by the time Dende met up with them.
And they also needed to draw attention away from Goku. Yeah. Basically, if they'd have done anything to attract attention, Frieza could have just gone back to his ship and just blasted the medical bay. And then boom, Goku wouldn't have been able to defend himself. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much the case. Manifesto again. What if in Super we got a full introduction to the demons, their realm, and if they're on the same level as the angels? Maybe on level as GODs and Kais? Perhaps more lore and enemies, new enemies to fight? Well, there was an entire arc of this in Dragon Ball Heroes. I think it's the Dark Demon Realm. There's an entire one. I really need to catch up on that, but if you want to get a good idea, go and check out the Dark Demon Realm arc or something like that.
They have some really cool designs there.
There are some really good designs. But that should definitely answer your question. And I really wouldn't be surprised if they borrow some ideas from that in the future. So do look out for that. So give that a look. Red Dragon Force 2 again. What if Masako wore the Fable Orange Gi for a stream? No. As you might have been able to tell from the Dragon Ball Evolution Nostalgia Critic video, I don't look good in it. It did not look good on me, and that was a cheap costume. That was really, really cheap. But it was really funny to see little Kuribo dressed up as Vegeta. And,
still very entertaining.
It was entertaining, and it was a real pleasure to record there. And Doug's dad, he's so sweet. He's so nice. He helped do all the makeup and stuff, and that was really cool. That was good times. Red Dragon Force 2 no, that wasn't Red Dragon Force 2. Yeah, again. Tevin asks, what if Vegeta never stayed on Earth during the Android saga? I'm guessing in which Vegeta didn't return and Piccolo saved Goku instead. Okay, so if Vegeta basically just said, just go like, I'm out of here, peace guys. And so basically if he never showed up, but the thing is though, that doesn't seem like in Vegeta's character. Because Vegeta's stuck around because he said, oh cool, I'm going to get a proper challenge. That sounds kind of cool.
But let's assume he doesn't. Let's assume he doesn't for a moment.
Yeah, or say he hasn't come, or maybe he hasn't come back yet.
Would Trunks train with Goku and Gohan then?
I think it would have been like 3 people training.
At the time, they couldn't. At the time, there were rules in place that prevented you from having more than 2 people.
Oh yeah.
So maybe with Piccolo. Maybe with Piccolo. That's interesting.
I think what might have wound up happening is Trunks would have wound up training either with an initial batch with Goku, because I know that Goku would want to see him improve.
Yes.
Or he would wind up training with Goku, and then Goku deciding that Gohan needs a little bit of extra time, extra cook time in order to unlock his true potential.
Yes.
Maybe he would even have Trunks go in and train with Gohan to kind of parallel the fact that Trunks was trained by a different version of Gohan.
Yeah.
Thematically, that would be great, definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's make a note of that. That's interesting.
We'll make a note of that. Okay. Nick Wolf, what if Goku's final dive bomb on Piccolo on the 23rd Budokai was just him, air quotes, stealing Nam's sky attack from the 21st? P.S. Love the new thumbnail. Oh, cool. Thanks, Nick. We really like the new thumbnail.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, you could say that, but like Nam's sky attack. Well, I mean, Goku has stolen techniques before, so it does seem very much in character. But the trouble is, though, is it really stealing the technique if nobody calls him out on it?
Also, seeing the last chapter of manga, it seems Gohan is stealing techniques as well.
Oh yeah.
He stole the spirit gun.
Like father, like son.
Like father, like son, Gohan.
Oh yes, of course. Perfect. Red Dragon Force 2. Augustus asks, what if Super happened after GT? That would make no lick of sense. Oh, okay, but basically, if, like, say, the Super Saiyan God thing happened after that.
The events.
Well, no,
yeah,
if Goku wouldn't be around anymore, and then the Earth probably would have been blown up.
Like, yeah, because, I mean, you have to remember that at the end of GT, Goku took the Dragon Balls off and vanished into the ether. They had to come up with a new planet for Earth. We lost Piccolo. I mean, you'd have a situation where essentially Vegeta and Gohan are the defenders of the Earth now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess you could say Oob as well, but who cares about Oob? I don't.
Oh dear. But yeah, I'm gonna play the sound.
Just in folks, like the Sophie B doesn't care about starving children.
No.
Hey! Don't go spreading nasty rumors like that. I think that Oob was a character with plenty of potential, but poor execution. It's very true.
I know. I agree.
Toriyama and Toyotaro's styles have a lot of that in common, where they introduce interesting ideas and then execute it really poorly.
I totally agree. Just messing with you. I totally agree.
All right, next. Next up is Frostbite. Fun one. What if Goku was in Street Fighter World? Well, people really want him to be in that, but I imagine probably he would just be... If he fought Ryu or Ken, that'd probably be the most similar thing. But, again, if you saw the Cell versus, it probably would be very one and done, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't think, when you really get down to it, while a lot of the stuff like the Katsuken and powerful techniques like Mu no Hado and Satsui no Hado and stuff like Akuma's Shungoku Satsu and all that other kind of stuff are incredible in universe for those situations, I really don't think that any of those techniques or abilities hold a candle to the sheer amount of power wielded by people of the Dragon Ball universe. Honestly, I think that even characters like Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha could probably wipe the floor with most of those people.
Yeah.
Barring maybe Akuma, only because of the fact that him or Dark Ryu, if they use the Shungoku Satsu, could basically do the equivalent of like what Devilman does and destroy a person utilizing the evil present in their soul. And that's about it. Like, that's the only real thing that would be a threat to anyone in Dragon Ball Z. And most of the characters are good guys and don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it would just be a very brief... it would be just for fun, really. Nick Wolf is, what if Goku had more genius moments, e.g., figuring out the Dragon Balls would disappear if Kami did throughout Z and Super and be less head in the clouds? Well, it really wouldn't be Goku in a way, and technically he does have genius moments. Like, think about him. The biggest thing is against Yakon in the Buu Saga. He basically could sense him in the dark by using air vibrations. And oh yeah, I could smell you too. Because you gotta have the comedic, you gotta have the yucks. But basically, he could sense air vibrations. That is remarkable. That is like good, fantastic kinetic intelligence. So basically, Goku has a lot of genius moments already. But I know what you mean in terms of more mathematical stuff and logic. But basically, Goku's intelligence is measured differently. But I know what you mean. So basically, say if he did figure out if the Dragon Balls would disappear, if Kami did, he'd probably just tell people, oh, just make sure Piccolo is, you know, kept safe and stuff like that. But then again, would Piccolo allow that to happen? No. So he wouldn't allow it because he'd say, I don't need somebody to look after me. I can look after myself. You know, he would have been thwarted anyway. And then Nick Wolf again. What if Launch, both of them, realized Tien wasn't into her and married Krillin instead? Absolutely no Tien, Blanche, and Krillin anime hijinks trademark. Well, I know that Toriyama years after did write a little epilogue to that by saying, "Oh, Ten Shinhan lives out in the countryside," and went to spend some time with him, but then realized, yeah, it wasn't going to work out. So that's how they were able to tie it all up and that kind of stuff. But it really kind of just it fizzled out, really. But would Launch marry Krillin? I don't think he's...
I don't know if I don't think Krillin's her type.
No.
We know that the bald thing doesn't bother her, but I think that she's into the more cold, the colder, stony,
the aloof
personality.
Yeah.
The aloof ones. That's partly why Tien appeals to her, and Tien is tall and super serious and handsome, and he's got this kind of almost broody personality. He's kind of like a precursor to Vegeta after a fashion,
in
but
a
he
way
got a lot better than that.
Yeah, and Nick Wolf does elaborate on that, saying I think he means like basically having Tien with blonde Launch and Krillin with blue Launch, so almost having 2 marriages.
Oh wow! This intrigues me. This intrigues me because let's assume that, like, let's just nix the idea of them getting married, right? But could you imagine if you had 2 ostensibly different people, because they're 2 completely split personalities, attracted to 2 different kinds of men? And so you have blonde Launch, who is attracted to Tien, and blue Launch, who is attracted to Krillin. And I could see the potential for some hijinks there,
that could
especially
be
when it comes to whether or not, like, Tien eventually has to tell, like, blonde Launch that, like, look, I'm just not interested, and of course I'm sure she'd be pretty upset by it, but eventually I think that would give enough room for Launch to maybe be able to fully hook up with Krillin in that regard. It has potential for some hijinks.
It does have legs in some way. Next one.
I would even say to finish it up, it would probably end with a wish on DragonBallZ to split the 2.
Yeah, I mean,
people.
I think he could do that. I think. Okay. White Oak next. What if Ginyu was in the Tournament of Power? Oh, they would use it to say, oh, hey, go and use that on Jiren. You know.
And Jiren would beat him in his own body because Jiren's training is more physically based, so muscle memories and stuff. Like, I think he would remember how to do stuff. Like, he would surprise everyone.
Yeah, I think Ginyu would only be in there for a second because everyone would say, oh, Ginyu's going to use it against Jiren. Oh no, it doesn't work. So maybe I think Ginyu might do in a desperation tactic. Like, going like, oh, I can barely do it, and then like try and throw himself off the tournament.
No,
throw himself out the ring.
Wait, but that's interesting because technically the rules are if your body is on the arena, you win. So he might change with somebody, throw out, but technically
and then change
Ginyu
back.
Is still, and Ginyu's body is still technically in the arena.
No, all you need to do is just say change now and then just change back in.
Yeah.
Nobody would know what would happen.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
like, the Zenos would have gone, oh my god, that's so cool. And then...
Ginyu would be kind of OP.
He'd be really... You know what? Make a note of it.
Yeah.
Let's make a note of it.
For lightning round.
That could be a good lightning round one. Heartless Fang. What if the Dragon Clan Namekians replaced their dragons at the end of their lifespan and got more powers? Like Guru as they aged. Okay, so basically if you had Dragon Balls, the older you got, the more powerful the dragon was. I mean, I could see that happening. And, you know, it'd be interesting to see if you fused Namekian and they made Dragon Balls. How strong would that be?
Yeah.
That could be interesting. I do, I would say that probably is the case. Like, Porunga is way stronger than Shenron and has more wishes. And I imagine that the powers do evolve, and Dende had his potential unlocked, so he can make 3 wishes as well. I mean, or, 2 if it's multi-res. And
we may think that, that Kami's Shenron wasn't as powerful because his education in the dragon stuff was limited.
Yeah, he wrote like, oh cool, I can make these Dragon Balls. Neat. So he literally just had this power, and he was just like, okay. Heartless Fang again. What if Chi-Chi, Bulma, Launch 18, and Videl became Charlie's Angels when the men were away? Well, they probably would have done better than the current movie did. I had no idea it was out. Seriously. I saw reviews for it, and I was like, really? Is it out already? Like...
Yeah, it kind of came out under the radar.
I had no idea it was out.
Next to no advertisement. But, you know, like, one of the R&R episode would have something like this.
Yeah, maybe. That could be fun. That could be a fun little skit. Manifesto. What if Universe 6 had a Perfect Cell alternate version and it required Gohan, Goku, Vegeta and such to help Kaba and the others in Universe 6? I would be very interested to see if maybe the reason why Earth was scorched in Universe 6 had something to do with their Perfect Cell there. It'd be interesting. Like, basically, maybe there was a war that broke out because of Perfect Cell, and they ended up all destroying themselves. And maybe that Perfect Cell is still roaming the universe. That could be cool.
I mean, that's an interesting idea. A cell-esque creature.
So maybe that cell won, and it was then going off into the galaxy to then go and look for other places.
I would say this cell was the end effect of the arms race. And he decided, nope, I'm not listening to anyone. Bye.
Yep. Later, breeders. And yeah. Damien Gill. What if Vegeta wished back the Saiyans? Now, we do have this in our What If FAQ video, but I'll give a very quick answer. Well, A, would he, though? Because he's really moved on from all of that, and he'd have to be very specific with the wish, because if he just wished them back, there's no Planet Vegeta, and as Resurrection F taught us, you get wished back as you were. And
suffocation, yeah!
Asphyxiation. Yeah, pretty much just like that, really. Auto Johnny, what if Copper goes into effect? What will happen to you guys? Okay, I did answer this in my announcement video a few days ago, but in short, we were actually talking about this before. But realistically, the FTC is a very underfunded organization, and they're managed by people. You think that YouTube has a really bad way of handling itself with machines? It's unenforceable, really. And
it's completely unenforceable, yeah. And honestly, the stuff we talk about, our primary audience that we are attempting to target is well above the age of 13.
Yeah.
In point of fact, 100% of my views in the last 2 months have been from people between the ages of 18 to 30. So
yeah.
I don't see
my
people
analytics
assuming
are like
DragonBallZ for kids.
Yeah, my analytics are like 92% over 18, and even the rest of them are 13 to 18. So basically, there are far better targets. And by the way, link to Sophie B's channel. She's almost at 1,000 subscribers.
Help her
I'm
to get
almost
1,000.
there. And I know that I haven't put out a new video in a little while. It's mostly just because I'm very underfunded right now because of bills. It's always a tough season for me around this time of year. And I haven't gotten very many folks on the Patreon just yet. Just trying to build that up and save up some money so that I can properly pay my editor and my title card artist and stuff like that, because they deserve it.
Seriously, she's only 78 away, people. So, let's get clicking. But yeah, so Copper, I'm not worried about it. I've marked it as not for kids. It's mainly to spook away those pregnant Elsa Spider-Man things. That's what it's meant to be used for. So, yeah, millions of channels, totally unenforceable, which, normal service shall resume. Well, shall be continuing. We got too many Dragon Ball theories to solve. Yeah, and exactly. God Relic did say, and Jake Paul, that kind of stuff. So basically, we don't target kids. We target nerds who grew up with it when they were younger and are now in their 20s and 30s and want to go, oh, hey, I want to actually delve deeper into this thing I loved as a child. Nostalgia points. Pretty much.
I want to hear more about goats.
Yeah, I want to hear more about goats and not goats.
Yes.
Yeah, check out our discussion next week for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gabriel, we're just a bunch of old weebs talking about Dragon Ball. Yeah, I'm gonna be in a nursing home and just talking about and just think, wait a minute, Vegeta wasn't the legendary Super Saiyan. Ah! I have a heart attack and die. It's like,
What if? Hey, what if this person was a girl?
it's like, no, I did it. I finally came up with a perfect idea for what if Master Roshi was a. We will never know. No,
Oh god.
Okay, Jonathan Norris. What if Vegeta spared Nappa? Well, if he did, then it depends on whether Goku would take them in and whether Nappa would be remorseful. If he's not, then you know, I think Goku would have just iced him or something like that. It depends. It depends
Tell
whether
you're sorry. No. Tell you're sorry. No. You know, punching him all the time.
for the last time, no! You could be a movie producer. Go on.
I'm listening.
I think if it happened, it would if Goku gave him a choice to whether he wanted to live or not. It kind of depends on that. Okay, Marin, based off the Raditz what if Raditz wishes back Gine and Bardock? You know what? I think he wouldn't. Because I think he would just want to have that memory. I think all he'd want to do is, and it's tied to episode 5, so I don't want to spoil it. But I think that in that episode, there is something I think will give Raditz an idea for a wish. It's just not what you suggest, Marin.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. But I'd say if he did, he probably would like... He would not like it. He would regret it because Bardock probably would... He wouldn't be this glowing thing that he remembered. And Gine, I don't know. I think maybe she'd be happy. I don't know. It depends. But again, you can't really do that at that time because they've been dead for over a year. And you have to get them away from Planet Vegeta. So it's that kind of thing. Unless he discovers what happens the hard way. It's like, yeah, they were back for about 30 seconds.
Which would
It's like,
make it's traumatized, I think.
yeah. Oh my god, trying to get Kevin to perform. Oh my god. Okay, White Oak 19. What if everyone's alignments were swapped? So basically, those who were good became evil, vice versa. Ooh. Well, Earth would not have been a good place, that's for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, if Goku had been evil from the get-go, it would have caused problems. Because his power was such that he would probably have rampaged. He'd wind up having to be stopped by probably somebody like Roshi or associates. Probably in this case, if everyone's alignments is stopped, it would have been Master Shin of the Crane School, and Tao Pai Pai, who wouldn't be an assassin. He'd be I don't know.
He'd be like a vigilante or something like that.
But
yeah, like a vigilante.
Emperor Frieza and his Saiyan army hunting the evildoers in the galaxy. Basically, Frieza would be the boss of Galactic Patrol.
He'd basically be the genuine article of what Frost was trying to be.
Actually, if Frieza was a good guy to begin with, he wouldn't have even destroyed Planet Vegeta. What probably would have happened is... Honestly, there's so many bad guys in the Dragon Ball universe that if you change the alignments around, it actually really overpowers everyone for the side of good.
It would end up really actually going great.
And what are we doing with the neutral characters like Virus, right?
They just stay the same.
Yeah,
I think.
they'd stay the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Spaghetti Confetti. What if Piccolo got God Key after fusing with Kami? Well, going back to what we were saying earlier about like ranks and echelons, really, Guardians don't have God Key. They are gods, but only of that planet. So basically, it's a term. It's a colloquial term for God. As in, like, He is the guardian of that planet. He is there to protect it and oversee it. So if he did, say, for example, if you're a guardian, you are blessed with some semblance of God Key, Piccolo wouldn't know what it is. And in theory, he might have actually had some, like, residual God Key from, you know, King Piccolo from his father. But then it might have been activated when they refused. So it would only be afterwards that maybe if some moment that Piccolo could sense God Key and go like, so that's what it is. And then he probably might want to train to try and learn more about it. Not necessarily get stronger, but just to learn more. And maybe get stronger in his own turn.
I really hope they will connect it somehow, you know, like give us a connection between Guardians to show if other planets also have Guardians, you know?
That'd be
like,
cool.
This is how they got appointed. This is a good thing to be explored.
No, I totally agree.
And since we have Eska in the story for some purpose, maybe they are going to do something.
Yeah, definitely. That could be fun. Rector Akor. What if Tights joined Bulma in our original hunt for the Dragon Balls? I think if she did, then Jarko might have dropped in every now and again. Probably like come in and like, you know, they say, "Hello there, what's going on? Oh my goodness, that's a massive dragon! I'm pretty sure there are some codes and violations against these wish-granting orbs. It's not very much becoming in the witnessing eyes of a super elite." Or something like that. He tried to confiscate the Dragon Balls.
Any excuse to do the Jocko voice, Masako.
Seriously, the Jarko, if Jarko or Whis, I'd love to voice in any kind of.
He wants to be Jocko so badly.
Well, what can I say? It's just basically a lot of fun because he's such a shirking little layabout. And the you got to do the pose. You got to do the pose as well. But I would say it'd be funny if Tights was around and Jarko then turned up and tried to confiscate the Dragon Balls. And then
you know, but we have the Bosca universe, the Capsule Corp universe, and Jarko is heading towards Earth and gathering Dragon Balls. So we don't know what's gonna happen then. I mean, I know, but
that is quite fair. That is very, very true.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that one.
Cameron Heaton, can you continue the What If Future Trunks stayed in the past? Can you do an unsubscribed speakers Guine? And what if Cell couldn't time travel? Well, I mean, if Cell couldn't time travel, he'd be screwed. There'd be nobody feast on. He probably would just like go back to a larval form and just wait for something else to happen. You know, there'd be no reason for him to exist, really, if there was no chance to become perfect. Unsubscribed speakers Guine? Oof. I think, well, I'll come back to that in a sec. But the future Trunks stay in the past, I am tempted to make a part 3, but I kind of just want to keep that as a 2-parter. You know,
I really liked it for the hijinks of
I liked
Future
it,
Trunks
and
in the past.
I think I just want it to leave it at that. I think I actually may just end it there.
I know the real reason why you're hesitant, Moss.
Why? Why?
Hav knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, what? The flirtation between the two? No.
If Trunks, no. What I'm getting at is that if Trunks stayed in the past, he'd have to reject Bulma. But Bulma wouldn't stand for it. She's too stubborn. So what would happen is that even if Trunks was smart and it didn't turn into some crazy Back to the Future situation, Bulma wouldn't date Yamcha, she wouldn't date Vegeta, and it would collapse the timeline.
Yes.
She'd be too hung up on her lavender-haired warrior that she met so long ago.
There are so many variables here. It's so much to unpack.
I will call my son with your name.
Okay, the Guine one. It'd be just like, but Masako, why can't I ever meet my granddaughter ranch? Everybody wants it, Masako. You keep denying them. Unsubscribe. Pretty much just that, really. So, everybody wants Guine to meet Ranch, and I keep denying it. It's basically, I am pulling a Toriyama with that one. I'm not doing it out of spite. Nah, I'm just kidding. I love you all, really. It's a very important moment, and I really want to make it right. It's very important, so I want to do it justice. Ethan Toombs, or I think that's Toomsy. What if Frieza chose not to destroy Planet Vegeta? Okay, if he basically decided to, like, ignore the demons inside of himself about Planet Vegeta, he probably would have ended up, the Saiyans probably would have just continued on as they were. I think, because, unless Bardock, because if Bardock got proved wrong, and he didn't destroy Planet Vegeta, Bardock would have been a laughingstock. Nobody would have believed him. And then basically, you know, okay, say for example Bardock did go up against Frieza, and Frieza did blast him, he would just be made an example. So, don't you dare try it, monkeys, or else the same thing will happen to you. He would still mock Saiyans, but it's just, he'd leave them in a perpetual state of fear and uncertainty. You know? Hashtag Freezy Pop being Freezy Pop. Pretty much. I think that's just that's along the short of it, really. He would just dangle the uncertainty amongst them to keep them in line. So that's what I'm saying. Stephen Richmond. It's been established that Frieza is now looking for someone to destroy our favorite Saiyans. What if he felt that it was time to give birth to a son more powerful than himself, named Hail, a new heir? Okay, it would be interesting. It would be interesting to see how it would work. But the trouble is, though, Frieza likes being an emperor. Would he really want to do? And I know basically this is going to the people about really wanting. Oh, we really want to see Frieza, and I'm like, I really don't think Frieza will do that. And also, relatively speaking, he's still very young. Like, King Cold was quite mature. Like, Frieza is probably only like 50, 60 years old, which means in probably like the Frost Demon lot, he's probably just barely reached maturity. Because actually,
remember that Cold has knowledge about Majin Buu and Beerus, which means that he either it's something passed from father to son, or that he remembers, which makes him pretty ancient.
Yeah, so basically Frieza has just reached maturity, which explains he does act relatively maturely, and he can actually take a joke now in the Broly movie. Like, Berry Blue, other people, he'd have just destroyed them for making fun of him, but he just said, that's a good one, Berry Blue. It's like, so basically he can poke fun at himself, which shows a sign of maturity. So he has grown up, which is actually kind of cool. I will admit that. So, but if he decided to, I imagine probably it would have been an aborted experiment. Because he would have probably just been like, no, I want to be the Emperor forever. It's too young. It would be not for another several decades, if you survived that long. But and also you'd have to understand how it would all work. So that's kind of another thing. Alexander Hamilton. Da-da-da-da-da-da. What if Bulma had used the Dragon Balls to keep Goten and Trunks' kids forever? Oh, what? Had she not done that already? I think she'd done that.
Was the only one who will get the Eternal Youth. My baby boy.
She didn't try to. Oh, well, she makes herself younger apparently. Then why doesn't she do that on the baby boys? She probably has done.
Don't worry. I know that you would be lonely if you were the only one aging, so I have somebody to keep you company. I think Chi-Chi would be very grateful for that.
Oh, but it'd be so wrong.
Yeah,
I really wouldn't want that to happen, but
Y'all treating Chi-Chi real bad right now.
yeah, and there's ways fixing it. Boop.
It's like, no, you're going against the fabric of nature, girls. You really shouldn't be doing that.
We seem totally A-okay with it in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie with the whole aging themselves down bit.
Okay, yeah, no, but I think that would be another thing that would be a bit like, okay, that's a bit weird. It's like, so that, maybe he might be just doing that almost to tease. The Jurassic Show. I do respect your decision to end What If Bardock convinced the Saiyans, but what happens to Cell, Majin Buu, Beerus, and Broly? Well, again, I haven't really thought about that, because I think I just want to make that a good natural end point. And, well, really, because pretty much everyone's pulled away from Earth pretty much around the Saiyan saga, Dr. Gero barely has any data to go off of. Like, he has nowhere near as much data. Goku's just...
yes! My final project, Mecha Yamcha!
Yeah, no, basically... Like, cowabunga, dudes! Cat loves food! Yeah.
God.
Cat... No, it would be like... Cat loves food. Yeah. I found the guy who does the voiceover for that, the text-to-speech thing, and him speaking normally. He's the voiceover guy from The Weakest Link. So if you ever remember, statistically, Sophie is the strongest link, and so like that kind of thing. It's the same one. So basically, when you hear that voice, it just sounds a lot like this. It sounds wired. But yeah, again, I would sell the androids. They probably wouldn't happen. Majin Buu, there's no real reason. And also, they're not as strong yet. Beerus,
with less strong fighters.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
With less strong fighters present on Earth, where ostensibly Majin Buu's stuff is located at the time, with less strong fighters there because of everybody like related to the Saiyan issue pulling away from Earth, it would mean that Babidi's plans to resurrect Majin Buu or to reawaken him would be put on hold anyways. So you wind up with no Android arc, you wind up with no Cell arc, and you wind up with no Majin Buu arc.
The rest of Z doesn't happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just maybe Broly, but maybe. But at the moment, I think it's just a natural endpoint. But thank you very much for respecting the decision, Jurassic. Much appreciated. Jasoya, what if the Dragon Ball series reincorporated the Journey of the West ideology in Dragon Ball Super? I think it's too late for that to happen, really. Because Dragon Ball these days has to appease to a Western audience as well. And by going too in-depth with it, it might make people go like, well, I don't get it in America or in the Western markets.
I mean, you can still, you know...
You just got to be more discreet about it. You got to have people then realize it and go like, oh, yeah. Basically, if you go looking
some
for
divine beings, you know, on the characters and use some... Especially when going into demons, you can still do a little bit...
You got to be clever about it. You can't be just like, you can't just, you gotta be a bit more careful about it. And, I got a comment on Twitter saying, if, like, Morrow had a Scottish accent in the dub, oh my god, a Scottish goat. It's like, aye, Cranberry, we're going to actually eat some planet energy. It's like, away with you! Something like that.
Oh my god, I almost want to get Trev to make a fun dub of...
Oh, no, but for Morrow, I'd almost like the voice from the big green dub of Dr. Wheelo of, who is the strongest man? That voice of Dr. Wheelo in the big green dub is actually kind of good. Yeah, tell me, who is the strongest man?
Who is the strongest man?
Oh, why are you asking a stupid question? Son Goku, obviously. Son Goku. Yes, Son Goku.
Still haven't seen the big green dub. I love that you guys love it as much as you do, but I'm sorry. You guys over at TFS did the best job.
I'm sorry, but just that bit of Krillin just going, when he's just basically, he's clearly panting. That kind of stuff. Okay, alright, let's move on. Andres Marrero. Is it possible to teach animals like Icarus or dinos to use ki? Like, how can one teach a horse to use a human toilet? Is that possible? Then cyberize them cyber dinos. Yeah, robo dinosaurs. Heck yeah, that'd be awesome. But maybe if you found a way to be able to communicate with them. That's the important bit. You'd have to teach them some way to like communicate. So maybe Bulma could make some kind of dinosaur human translator. Maybe. That kind of thing.
God, think about one of the characters becoming an actual hunter using key-based dinosaurs as his weapons. Like Yamcha could, through Puar, communicate with those animals. And...
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, that's very true. Asylum Knight. What if Cooler had a son? If Cooler had a son, well, he'd be doing it. Say, oh, look at that, Freezer. I bet you couldn't make a son. I made a son. I did it first. He'd do it out of spite. To have a son to then take out Freezer, and it's like, look, my son is so strong. I don't even need to do it myself. I can just send my children to go and do it.
His name is Fridge.
His name.
Oh my god.
Furigi. Furigi.
Fridge.
That pretty much just that. Steve Hartley. What if Vegeta went to Earth instead of Goku? DragonBallZ. Just go and read DragonBallZ, Steve. It's a very, very great read. Go and look DragonBallZ.
Add that one.
You will have a fun time. You will have a very good time.
Need to add that one to the FAQs.
Yeah, that'll be in volume 2. But what if Vegeta went to Earth instead of Goku? I will literally go, DragonBallZ. Go read it.
Yep.
I even did a
DragonBallZ.
discussion. Yeah,
Good
exactly.
stuff.
Vandalia 1998. What if the Tournament of Power was between the different What If universes on this channel? Would one What If have the advantage? Okay, this is a slightly different question. One, I think the R&R universe would have it, really, because, like, you've got so many different powers at one go. Like, you've got Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, you've got Mastered Blue Raditz, you've got Ultra Instinct Goku, if you could ever get back to it, Super Saiyan 4 Ranch, Trunks, Blue Goten. Yeah, the R&R universe would win out because
Nappa versus also pretty strong.
Nappaverse would be very close with Berserker Nappa and stuff like that, and Ultimate
Ratful Goten.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
It'd be very much Nappa versus Raditz in that regard. Yeah. Marin, sorry for the double message. Don't worry about it. Based off of the Raditz what if you convinced Goku to wish back Gine and Bardock with the Dragon Balls? We have had a question like this before. But I don't think Raditz would. But if he did try and convince Goku, it'd be very much just a curiosity thing. Bardock, say if they wish them back to Earth, Gine will probably stick around. Then you could have them meet Ranch. And then Bardock, again, he would not stick around. He'd be like, oh, cool, you guys survived. You beat Frieza?
Okay,
cool.
bye.
Okay, I'm just going to go and travel the galaxy and stuff. And they'd probably be okay with it. He'd probably drop in every now and again. But don't expect him to, like...
He definitely wouldn't stick around on Earth, especially if he's going to be surrounded by people whose power levels are so much more enormous than his.
And not to mention for the fact that he knows his kids are okay. They turned out strong.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool. Okay, I don't have to do anything. Nice. So pretty much that he'd have no responsibility, and he'd just go like.
And then it would come down to pretty much. Gine would be the only one who have to make a choice in that situation where it's like, okay, do you want to be with your kids or do you want to be with Bardock? So they probably wind up being like, hey, we know our kids are safe. They're fully grown adults. They're way more powerful.
Let's go and start a new life or something like that.
Let's go wander the stars, whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And they can keep in touch in some way. That'd be neat.
Mm-hmm.
Sid Lopez. In the What If Goten was born in the future, do you think Gohan would kidnap Goten like Piccolo did? Him since Chi-Chi wouldn't allow it otherwise? What if Goten was born in the future? Do you think Gohan would kidnap Goten like Piccolo? Oh, okay. So in the history of Trunks thing, if Goten was born and basically Chi-Chi had been very protective to make sure Goten was kept away from things, but if Gohan decided to kidnap him, that'd be a very interesting plot.
Kidnapping outright says that it's she doesn't need to agree on it, so
well, no, I mean Gohan would probably do it for more noble reasons, but I think he would just take
Gohan truly thought that having Goten train alongside him and Trunks would help, I could see him putting aside Chi-Chi's feelings for the greater good.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's like I've said before when this question has kind of popped up about Goten being in the future timeline. I think honestly that with the way that the training between Trunks and Goten tends to go, or rather at least Trunks's in that timeline went. I think that Goten and Trunks simultaneously being there would actually be more of a hindrance to Gohan, because his attention would be further divided between 2 points, and it would have probably ended poorly for him back during the initial conflict, and instead of losing his arm, he might have lost a heck of a lot more, up to or including his life.
Yeah, that would not have ended well. So basically, you probably would not want to be in that situation. It'd be very precarious. I would play the sound, but it would be like, okay. Yeah, so, okay. Next up is Kenshin 491. What if Frieza landed during the Cell games? Ooh, okay. If he did land in the Cell games, well, everybody would have just blasted him away, saying that we haven't got time for you, Frieza. Because everyone would have been able to beat him. Yeah, no, basically, that would have been a really bad time. Frieza would have just gone like, go away, Frieza, you're old news, and stuff like that. I mean, Cell would have been like, oh, what's this? Oh, look at that! Are you the last poor sap that lost to these weaklings? There'd have been some sass, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
cool, I have to see you in the afterlife. Or not. And then he probably I would have been so cool if Cell just blasted Frieza out of existence. It's like, cool, nice to meet you. Now get out of my way. You're interrupting the Cell games. No, basically he said, oh, have you come to join the tournament? No, I've come to destroy the world. Well then, goodbye. Bang, like that.
Yeah.
That probably would have been the way. You're interrupting my tournament.
And Cold is like, and Cold is like, can I adopt you?
No. It's like,
Last.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The king is dead. Long live the king.
Long live the king.
He looks at the minions. Technically, we were related. I'm the heir to the throne. Technically, because that's true. Technically, he is. If you think about it, Cell has claims to both thrones of Planet Vegeta and the Gold Empire.
Hey, don't hate the Cell
like-
player. Hate the Cell games.
And to the Fire Mountain as well. He's
yeah.
a prince
wow.
of everything. If you think about it, he's the prince.
Yeah. Andres Marrero. How come no one wished for Shenron to spare, train, or fight with them? An eternal dragon would be powerful when within the confines of the wish. So basically, it's like, oh hey, guys, should we like, hey, why don't we like wish for Shenron to become a fighter? Like, Shenron, use bind. It was super effective.
I think the implication there is give him an anthropomorphized form, have him fight alongside the Z fighters.
You know what? I'm
But
surprised
the
that hasn't happened already.
Well, I mean, you kind of have the first kind of inklings of that kind of concept when you've got the whole Dark Dragon arc in GT. The problem is that there's not an effective way to truly utilize it, because when you have a person that's also your big MacGuffin that keeps the stakes low, it gets hard. And furthermore, Shenron's power isn't so great that he could really hold any kind of candle compared to the other Z fighters, because when you get right down to it, like, there's so much that Shenron and Porunga can't do because it's quote unquote beyond their power, like to the point to where they can't simply wish to defeat certain enemies, etc., etc. It's honestly kind of a really big, like, excuse me, that the Dark Dragons from that arc were as powerful as they were. And I think it's partly because of the fact that they changed up the whole dynamic and status quo when they introduced the Black Star DragonBallZ.
Yeah. No, that's basically that seems like a fair point. Next up is SSJ3 Gohan. What if Vegeta got his potential unlocked on Namek? Okay, I'll keep this short. Basically, if he did have his potential unlocked at that time, it might have just acted like a Zenkai, like a mini Zenkai. And he might have been able to handle himself slightly better against Final Form Frieza. He might have been able to do enough to survive. Or at least, you know, be really badly injured instead of dying. Like, he'd have been on the ground, but he may have just lived. Barely. So that kind of thing. So I'd say that, really. He'd have been, like, slightly more... He might have been slightly more pompous, but then Frieza would have put him in his place. But he would have been... I think he would have been able to have a really good fight with First Form Frieza. Like, really dominate. But then as soon as Second Form comes in, yeah, no, he's done. It would have been a much more compelling First Form Frieza fight. Kenshin491, this one's for Sophie. What if Sophie did Q&A streams as Master Rosie?
I'd have to find a good voice for her first, but I mean, I could probably do it. I need to write down. I really need to come up with a concept.
You know what? I feel like almost wanting
section for the episodes.
I almost want to make almost like a Dragon Ball conversation video with you and have the three of us just going. So basically,
going in character, talking.
Oh, no, just having like this big round table thing and just going like, yes, this is what we're going to do. This is how the story would commence. And then we would just say,
that would be fun.
Yeah, we would just basically sit down, how would it work from one end to the other, and that kind of thing. And
almost like a deep dive into how an episode would be made, how a concept would be made.
Creating what if on the go.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Maybe we'll watch the Space Guys. We might make that a video, just like a long form video of us just talking about our thought process, and then whatever comes out of it you get. It could be a comic, it could be something else. Don't know. We'll see. Papa Meta Maka Slice of Life episode. What if Bardock and Cassava went to Earth for vacation after the defeat of Frieza? Oh, that would be really, really interesting. But just seeing Cassava and Bardock in Earth clothing, is this what the locals wear? And then Cassava's just like, actually probably relaxing for the first time ever.
Beach episode.
Beach episode.
That's what everybody wants.
It's just the beach episode.
Bardock's beach episode.
No, Vegeta's going like, Mom, Kakarot's putting sand in my eyes. Stop it, Kakarot.
Okay, Queen.
Vegeta's like, Raditz is building a sand castle, and like, and like Vegeta comes over and knocks it over. It's like, ha!
Oh my gosh.
Know your place. And then, oh dear. It'd be fun. It'd be a nice little beach episode. Silver Red. April Fool's idea. What if Frieza turned good? Using the third wish from Porunga. The wish was able to affect Vegeta against his will. Oh, oof. Jesse Goff. We are way back in the queue. I'm about halfway through the list. It's a very long list. But basically, a wish, that would be the only way you could make him turn good. And you know what? I might end up making that as an April Fool. But you'd have to make it a wish. But even then, you'd have to... It wouldn't be a genuine way. But, I mean, to be fair, the what if Cell turned good isn't a real genuine Cell. It's a form of Cell. So it's kind of true.
The way with Cell, though, Cell works because you can still find a way to alter Cell.
You nurtured him and modified him.
Yeah. Yeah, and Bulma's able to do that. You can't do that with certain characters, like Frieza in particular, And even if I kind of feel like with how dead set in his mindset Frieza is, like he endured years in hell, and all it did was piss him off.
I think they're talking about back in the Namek saga.
It would have to be,
that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that I think what would happen is that they'd make the wish, right, and it would stick for a little while, but I think it would wind up with diminishing returns, and eventually, as time went on, the effect would start to wear off, and the maliciousness would start to peek through, and the evil would start bubbling up to the surface again, and they'd wind up with a decision. It kind of plays into this concept that I was thinking of that pertains to Kami and Piccolo, because I was thinking of a different what if involving possibly maybe some of the human Z fighters or something, of them asking Kami, about how him and Piccolo split into two different people, and finding out that it wasn't a Namekian thing, it was a technique that he learned from the first Guardian of Earth, and treating it that way. And maybe you could have a situation like that, where Frieza becomes so dissociated between two identities, a good guy and a bad guy, he has to do what the nameless Namekian did all those years ago, and split himself into two people, and then have like a big epic battle between the good Frieza and the evil Frieza.
Okay. All right.
Or another idea that I suggested once when we got this idea, Frieza having to act good while still being evil inside, and having the worst time of his life, even worse than in hell.
Oh, yeah.
He has to be nice and complain, but inside he's burning, like...
Locked in syndrome.
Yeah. Kero Kamina X. What if Trunks' timeline Z fighters use their one day to come back to help with the androids, or Zamasu, alongside our Goku and Vegeta in Zamasu's case? Well, the trouble is, though, would fortune teller Barber's place be destroyed? Probably. You know, in the fullness of time, Barber would have probably just gotten the heck out of there. Be like, there's no way, I'm not staying here. Why would I stay here? But it's just down to Barber being a coward in that regard, and fairly so, because if the world's gone to pot and the Z fighters are all gone, there's no one to protect you. Your brother's currently in a submarine. You've got nobody. I know. I could go to the other world and wait out there until the heat's off. So yeah, no, Barber would stay there, and basically thinking like, okay, these Z fighters probably haven't gotten much stronger. And if I sent them back, they'd probably be blasted away again. So it'd be just like...
Also, like, we already had that with Goku, that Goku died. Sickness is considered to be natural causes, so without Goku, who would stop it?
The only way you could bring him back is just for that one day through Barber. You could, but it would only be for one day. He'd keep his body. He'd probably be okay. He'd have a new spirit-based body. But he'd only be able to come back for that. That's the only way he could come back to Earth is through Barber. And that's it. And at the moment, I think Barber would just be like, no. Just no. Okay. Let's see. What's the next one? So basically, I'd say... Jonathan Norris. What if the human fighters drank the Ultra Divine Water before the fight with the Saiyans? Would it make any difference if they survive drinking it? Well, I think there's
probably not, because there's a bit of a thing there where it can be argued that the Ultra Divine Water isn't truly any kind of magical substance. It's more of just a placebo effect, where, you know, if you're pure-hearted and stuff like that, and you pass the trials set up by Korin and Yajirobe and stuff like that, with regard to that whole situation. What ends up happening is you get strong course of your pursuit of the Ultra Divine Water, and then of course the water itself is just a placebo.
The journey is the reward. It
probably wouldn't have done exactly. The journey is the reward, and if you wanted to be like, but that's cheap or whatever, and make the other argument, because I mean it's not 100% confirmed that's the way it is, even if there are implications. Even if you wanted to say the Ultra Divine Water powers them up, it wouldn't have powered them up very much, because you got to remember that honestly it probably only made certain characters maybe half again as strong as they were, not even double what their current strength was, which meant that most of these characters would drink the Ultra Divine Water and they'd be a little stronger, but they would still wind up losing to Nappa in the long run, and Goku would wind up having to come to the rescue. The only real difference I can see is Yamcha would have survived the fight with the Cyberman. And that would have been pretty much it. But they would have all still wound up losing to Nappa.
And since Ultra Divine Water has, you know, the symbol of Kami, which might be the Guardian symbol, it might coming something from the Guardian, but it wouldn't go over what would you get by training with the actual Guardian.
No.
Yeah. No. And we already know that they made some incredible gains training with Kami. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's absolutely. But speaking of gains, Paparazzi. Hey, I was wondering where Paparazzi would end up. What if Goku was Android Go? This is basically meaning... This is a variation on the what if Goku was adopted by Dr. Gero. So basically, let's say for example, Gero had like after the Goku Vegeta thing, he found some way to abduct Goku, and take him back to his lab and convert him into an android. Yeah, somehow.
Say it again. I'm having some audio issues on my end.
What if Goku was Android Go? So basically, it's a variation on what if Goku became an android. Like I would say, if Gero after the whole fight on Namek, on the whole fight with Goku and Vegeta, and Goku survived, and for some reason Gero was able to kidnap Goku, and then take him away and make him an android. Basically, he'd seen, when his bug droid was destroyed, he's saying, right, I've seen enough, I need to grab him when I can. That could be interesting, actually. I would make that for a lightning round. That could be fun.
Yeah, I could see it maybe working for a lightning round. What if?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's we'll call that the wacky lightning round. So or something like that. Yeah. So we'll make a note of that, Paparacha. Cardin Darklord. What if Goku was made Guardian of Earth when Kami offered? This is a regular one. We'll keep this short, really. But basically, Goku would not be the Guardian of Earth for very long because he doesn't like being in the same place for a long period of time. He wouldn't be able to participate. Like, if he saw a cool tournament going down, as the rule of the Guardian of Earth, he would not be allowed to go down there. So he would be really sad, and eventually he would be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Somebody else can do it. Or like Kami would have to take over the reins again. It's like, oh well, it was good while it lasted. Or maybe maybe the best way I could see this happening is Kami was saying, look, Goku, let me try and convince you. Be the Guardian of Earth for a week. And this allows Kami to have a holiday on Earth. So Kami has a little vacation down on Earth, and Goku's the caretaker, and Goku does a really bad job. And then Kami's like, yeah, maybe. That's the only way I could think how you could make it work as a story.
Yeah, because Goku would want to intervene, to help people, and he would hate this aspect.
No, but Kami would be like saying, look, I know you'll be good. Here, why don't you become Guardian of Earth for a week? He tries it and then realizes, oh, yeah, no, never mind. On second thoughts, probably not.
He tries to react to every prayer, to every,
Yeah,
I could see it working almost as if it was like a one-off comedy episode where like both Kami and Goku are kind of miserable the whole time because Kami's trying to have like an enjoyable vacation, but it keeps going to pot like National Lampoon style. And meanwhile, Goku is just ruining things as Guardian of Earth because he doesn't know how to do the job.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem right. So it's like...
By the end of it, they're just like, let's swap again and let us never speak of this again.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like a natural filler fit, to be quite honest.
Yeah, Chrome Bison. What if Bardock survived but became an antagonist for the Z Fighters? That's the Masked Saiyan, everybody! It's pretty much that. If I'm honest, that's pretty much what it is.
The Time Breakers.
Yeah, so it's the Time Breakers, really. League of Fox. So we know Roshi is immortal. What if Master Roshi became immortal in his 30s, or used the Dragon Balls to be young and never stopped training and train with Kami? He basically would be able to train for around 300 years. Okay, so basically Master Roshi got the Dragon Balls, became immortal when he was much younger. And he basically trained... It'd probably just be the same, he'd just be younger. And he probably would be more successful with the ladies. He'd be suave in his 30s and stuff. But then you just go back to a Kame house and there's a proper bachelor pad and he's completely scummy and wears just, like, boxer shorts and stuff. So, oh my god, he'd dress up in a suit, he would then go over to the city and go like, oh my god, he's so cute, he's so hot. And then basically they go back and he ends up being like a disappointment. He'd be so deceptive. He would use his good looks against girls, and that would make things a bit like, oh. he's a bit of an e-boy in that regard. But I think he would train with Kami. He'd be more buoyed up to do that. So maybe. I think that requires a bit more thought, though. But good question. We'll make a note of that. Timothy Ron, what is your current list of what ifs you'll be discussing in order? Oof. I can't really give you that list because, like Toriyama-san, I write by the seat of my pants. Like, seriously. I write things on a chapter-by-chapter basis. So, I go like, what are we going to write today?
I could tell them mine.
Yeah, briefly,
because I actually have something of a schedule. So,
sure.
My next episode, as soon as I finish writing it, and I've got the money to pay my editor and my title card artist, I'm going to be doing What If Raditz Escaped Earth with Gohan. Look forward to that one. And then the one that I'm going to have for my post 1,000 subscriber special, as soon as I hit that mark, is going to be What If Vegeta Revived the Saiyans.
Okay.
It's going to be a little bit more on the fan fiction-y side, but it's mostly there just for fun, and I know that people kind of want to see that sort of situation.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm gonna finish up What If Krillin got a power up, and then I'm gonna continue from there. I don't know what I'm gonna do after those two, but I think I'm gonna get a lot of mileage out of What If Raditz escaped Earth with Gohan and What If Vegeta the Saiyan.
Oh yeah,
So
you will.
We'll have to see.
Oh, you've gone suddenly a bit quiet. Oh, and Sophie's. Oh, hello.
Sophie?
Hello.
Oh, there you
Hello?
go. There you.
Yeah,
You're
Sorry
back.
about that. I lost signal.
No, that's all right. No worries. But we'll move on to the next one. Keeper of Necronomicon. What if Nappa had been wished back on accident like in DBZ, but instead of making movies, he was found by Jiro and made into an android? Oh,
I mean, if Jiro had any of the androids to defend him, sure, try to.
Yeah, if he did. I mean, if he had the ability to use... Maybe Android 13 or 14 or something like that. Depends. Probably Android 13. If Android 13 was around at the time of the Saiyan Saga, like as some kind of research project, as an early prototype, maybe. I think that could be the way it would work. He would use Nappa, discover all the cells and stuff like that, and then build up like an android based around Saiyan archetypes.
Because
cool.
remember, like Jiro would probably turn himself into an android at the last possible moment when he was sure that he can do this safely.
Well, when he perfected it. Like, he thought 19 was his greatest success.
Yeah, so he wouldn't be 20 at this point.
No,
and
he'd be still the Doctor.
I don't think Nappa would like to listen to him. Hey, I want to give you the opportunity to get the revenge. Nappa would just blast him out.
Yeah, he'd have to tread very carefully. Corrosive Bullet. What if Vegeta decided to run for the king of the world against the current king and rule a new people during the Android Saga? I don't think he'd be a very good king at that point in the story, and I don't think that's something that interests him. He's not really interested in being a king in that regard, because a king of Earth really does not mean being the king of the Saiyans. If he found out how much like paperwork and like bureaucracy you'd have to do as the king, and then basically no, and then he'd be like, wait, what? No, I don't need to go for a walk. It's like, seriously, King Furry, it's time for your afternoon walk. Brr.
Yeah.
So no, being a king on Earth is so much different to being king of Planet Vegeta. It's just not in this job description.
Yeah.
Vandalia 1998 discussion idea. What makes the Dragon Ball DB evil that eventually joined the gang like Tien, Piccolo, Vegeta, and even the Pilaf gang different from the permanent evil? Well, the thing is, though, this is something I learned during film studies, is that to make a good character, or to make a character a bad guy or a good guy, no characters like that are truly 100% good or 100% evil. There's either some kind of vice in a good guy or a redeeming quality in a bad guy to make them really good. Because, for example, there was a Doctor Who episode in the latest season. It's the guy who plays Alicia Florrick's husband, Peter Florrick, in The Good Wife. And he's this guy who's building a golf club hotel, totally, and he has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. And he's just an unbelievable bad guy. As in, like, I really cannot get behind this bad guy. The basic thing, if you had him slowly go like, actually, what am I doing? I'm really actually acting like a jerk. Just realizing the clarity, having that moment of clarity, that would have made so much up. Like Frieza. Frieza's not entirely evil. He's very evil, not entirely. He's very respectful to people he deems worthy. He can, he is mostly, like, almost, he's not chaotic evil. He's, like, very,
He's neutral evil.
Neutral evil. Basically, I'm doing this for me. Like, that kind of thing. He's not one to cause chaos or anything. So, he is redeemable in some way. So...
I mean, redeemable. I wouldn't call it redeemable. I would say you can put him in a point when he will be stable for the moment.
He has a consistency. Yeah.
Consistency,
But so basically, Tien, Piccolo, Vegeta, they just have a higher threshold. There is more redeeming qualities to them, and eventually, basically, and also the awareness of, oh, hey, this guy just beat me, and he's offering me the chance to live? Yeah, I'll take that. So it's basically a level of shrewdness and realizing the jig is up. So, yeah, just realizing...
Also, like, all the characters that could be redeemed, there is always a hint. Every character, I think, that got redeemed had that little hint of innocence somewhere. Vegeta, even though he was an absolute jerk, he was the product of his race and the Frieza Force, kinda. Yeah. He still would be a jerk, but he was a product of this. Piccolo had that childlike innocence in himself a little bit, and we've seen that. Something is off when he saved the mother and son.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Bearing Cab. What if Frieza's healing pods were used to regrow Saiyan tails if the ship wasn't destroyed in Resurrection F? Since apparently they can regrow the missing Frieza pieces, like they can... I don't think all of them can. I think it's a special one that Sorbet and Lot, they made. It was like a super duper one made especially for Frieza. So I don't think all of them can. Yeah. But I think they made it just because they could. So, I think that's mainly the case. But basically, if we used to regrow Saiyan tails, I mean, I think it was just, like, they don't have the technology to do that. It's literally, at that time in the Namek Saga, they had it just to recover people already. It couldn't regrow limbs or something like that. But if it did a regeneration tank, it would just be, oh, cool, okay. Or maybe they would just chop them off or chop them off again entirely.
Yeah, they wouldn't want the tails.
They've gotten so used to not having them. Yeah, so basically, I think that's just one of the short of it. Yeah. Jamar Hilbert. What if future Trunks and older present Trunks fused, making the perfect fusion and have them so form space team power? Maybe time travel, but backwards only. He trains with ancient Saiyans, Super Saiyan 4. So basically, you just have a Super Trunks, or Trunksai. Like a plural Saiyan.
Or True Trunks.
True Trunks. Or Trunks. Or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, you just have him just being even more compelled to act the way he does. In that regard. Maybe time travel...
He will be more cocky.
He would be definitely more cocky, certainly.
Yeah.
And time travel backwards? I don't know. He would still end up being a time patroller, but I think he would just end up kind of going various different places to places and stuff. So I don't think it would really work kind of going backwards only. But yeah. Warwolf 1. Here's a what if. What if Vegeta was female and had been engaged to Goku due to political maneuvering? The caveat being that Goku wouldn't marry Chi-Chi in this scenario though, so no Gohan. Okay.
We've answered this
We've
before.
answered this many times.
Really...
So check out
they really want Vegeta and Goku.
Check out the what if FAQ for your answer there, Warwolf. But in the short of it is, Vegeta would not go for Goku. He would go for someone more worthy, like someone that is more like akin to herself, like Tenshinhan or Krillin, if she had to pick somebody.
Here's an idea. How about instead of asking yourself, what if Vegeta was a girl and engaged to Goku? Because engaging to Goku makes no sense. Low class Saiyan warrior, not with a very high power level at birth, nothing like that. How about you ask yourself this question: Dragon Ball Super Broly. What if Broly was a girl, and instead of deciding to get rid of Broly, King Vegeta chose to engage Broly to his son.
Oh, okay. It'd be very interesting.
Bow, bow.
Oh, okay. Wolf 1 will get the What If FAQ link to you. So if you want to check out the video, you can locate it here. There you go, Wolf. Right there. Okay, so boop-a-doop-a-doop. Let's see. So next up is Frostbite. What if the good Saiyans defeat the evil Saiyans? Okay, so basically, like, I think this is like the ancient Saiyans. So basically,
Universe 6.
Universe 6. Frostbite, Universe 6. Long and the short of it, really. Column. What if Vegeta and Tarbell were twins? They're a bit more or interesting dynamic in that regard, but in that sense,
I think it would be interesting when Tarbell wasn't that strong, but would be better in leading, you know, and organizing stuff.
Yeah.
And that situation when Vegeta is better at, you know, at punching people, and it's better military leader, but Tarbell would be a better civil leader.
Yeah.
And that Vegeta would be trying to push Tarbell to be the de facto leader, to give himself a more free reign.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I would agree with that. It just seems a bit more. They'd have their own niches, and they would thrive in those, definitely. Ryuganite. What if Android 16 was revived along with the rest of the people following the defeat of Cell? Well, unfortunately, Shenlong can only bring back organic beings. You can't. 16 is fully mechanical, and unfortunately, Shenlong doesn't have the ability to bring back people who are, you know, of the persuasion of being, you know, robotic. And the only way that you could bring him back, maybe, is, I don't know. You couldn't really. The only way you could, and that was via the Namekian Dragon Balls, if they don't have the 1-year time limit, is to bring back the son, the original son. But there's no guarantee that you would have no memories of being 16, and you'd only just do it for the way of, oh, if some piece of 16 could live once more, you know, a more altruistic way. That'd be the only way I'd see that you could make that work. You'd have to do it in some way that, you know, the 17, 18 Krillin, they do it in a way so that means some part of 16's essence and being lives. You know?
Which is like 16 being purely mechanical brings up so many interesting questions, like, what would happen if you try to Potara fuse with him? Can you, or would the earrings, you know, treat him as an item?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, loads of questions. But yeah, thanks, Ryuga. Kenshin491, what if Paragus was a good dad? Well, in a way, he is a good dad. He's a much better dad in the original Broly movie. Yeah, he is genuinely like, I am trying to help prevent my son from blowing up the galaxy.
He was, at the beginning of the movie, I think he was.
Yes, he was at the beginning of the movie. But then, decades of solitude, eating bug juice, that does a lot to a Saiyan.
Well, and you also got to remember that as a father whose power is not growing at the same rate as his son's, as a person who isn't experiencing notable gains from the training that he does and stuff like that, because you got to remember, Paragus's power is like 46 or 4800 when Chi-Lai and Limo find him. He doesn't only grow resentful, he also grows scared. A lot of his relationship with Broly is built upon fear, hence the need to rein him in and control him with a shock collar. And so his relationship was forever altered with Broly when it got to such a point. It was probably the trauma of losing his eye, in fact, which is implied to be from an incident with Broly. So he probably, at that point, he developed the shock collar, and his relationship with his son was never the same. But we could see that he cared about his son. I mean, no dad goes off to do that sort of thing if they're a deadbeat. He wanted to rescue his son from peril.
But yeah, being in solitude for that moment, it does a lot. It does a lot to a person, definitely.
Yeah.
Next one, Comic Platypus. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. What if Tien launched in Raditz were polyamorous? Oh, I've seen a comic that Fun Sexy DB did. Just go and read that. Just yeah, it's vaguely just. Yeah, just that. I mean, there'd be a rivalry between the two. And we do carry that over sort of in R&R. Like, there's a bit of, like, you know, Tenshinhan and Raditz don't quite see eye to eye in some ways. They're friendly, but, you know, they're still a bit like, you know, I don't really like the way you think sometimes. Or you really need to start thinking in this way.
They are trying to be friends, maybe
trying to be friends, yeah. But then in this, but normally it would just be trying, pretty much. Yeah. Jesse Guff. What if Goku went to Hiffle for his R&R army kills? Oh, the thing is that he wouldn't, because Goku's done like a lot more, and he destroyed Evil Demon King Piccolo. What at that time, the strongest demon on the planet. I think that pretty much gives you a pass for eternity.
You must understand that in universes such as Dragon Ball, like good and evil forces are sometimes less about the morality from our real world and more like two teams, the Reds and the Blues, you know?
Yeah.
Think about it like that. Like Hiffle is for the Reds, let's say.
Yeah.
And Goku is working for the Blues because he defeated more of the Reds that are evil.
Well, no, I would imagine that maybe Goku would end up being in a tracksuit. And he'd say,
and I'm here to pump you up.
So basically, he'd eventually, oh yeah, I am friends with Goz and Mez. It's like, basically he bent. Oh my god. It's like, oh nine, don't let Goku near the barbecue. It's like, oh no, we don't want to repeat of what happened last time. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Rector Accord. What if Goku and Vegeta were brothers? Oh, if they were, Vegeta would lord it up over the fat for the longest time. And if he found out that Goku had a power level of 2 from the very start, he would just constantly say, "You will always be weaker than me." And he would just be in constant denial. If Goku ends up being stronger, he'd say,
"You are adopted."
Yeah, no, he'd be in some way. He would like find some way to undermine Goku all the time.
I mean, I still think that that Saiyan gene pool is so limited that they may end up somehow being related because there's not that much of them.
There's only a few hundred of them on planet Vegeta.
That's why they only have one hair color and stuff like this. So I feel that they are
in
related.
some way, yeah.
In some way.
Okay, but just very, very quite distantly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Paparazza. What if Bardock became a Super Saiyan against Frieza? And seeing how weak he is, Frieza is calmed into not destroying planet Vegeta. That wouldn't happen because okay, Bardock goes Super Saiyan. He becomes almost as strong as first form Frieza. I would say, oh, that's cute. Well, guess what? I can do this. Boom. He'd go second form. He'd go second form, and he would basically just saying, now, you might be able to tell that I am quite strong as this form. Let's hope that you don't see this again. He would just use that.
Dear. We believed in you, violent stranger.
He would just use that as a sign of intimidation. It's like, I have more behind this, so you don't want to see this again. Clear? So basically, it would be along those lines. He would just use it to bang Bardock as a Super Saiyan. He'd say, oh, well, so much for that. Frieza's paranoia would be put to rest. Oh, that's a Super Saiyan? That was nothing. So, yeah, he would feel so much more confident at that. Yeah. Okay. And Podo was talking about continuing to that age. About all the various arcs. Well, that is very cheeky, Podo, and I don't think we really have much time to go through them all. Super Saiyan Kid Goku, that would just be like the regular timeline until we get to the Tournament of Power, only with Goku slightly stronger. Vegeta's potential, Vegeta has like an empire, and just carries on doing what he's normally doing.
Maybe,
not really
maybe
rocking
he
the boat.
helps Galactic Patrol with fighting Moro. That's
Yeah,
the only-
maybe. Just was like some kind of like, I will help you if you just leave me alone.
Yeah.
And then the Bardock thing. Again, the tournament wouldn't really happen, and the Saiyan Empire would rebuild as a more altruistic existence. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the long and the short of it for this time frame. Seton Tube. What if failed fusions happen to Potara fusion as well? Failed Potara fusion name idea, Gota. So, okay, so basically, say for example, one of the Potara earrings was cracked, or something like that. They put them on the right earrings, but one of them's damaged in some way. So it would depend on what kind of thing that you would make. Would it be some kind of a more unstable fusion? Would it be just a weaker fusion, but still kind of strong? Would the time limit be weaker? It depends. It'd be one of those things like Shin goes, "Oh no, one of the earrings was damaged. Well, what's gonna happen to him? I don't know. It could be anything." That would actually make it quite tense.
Interesting.
It would make it really
I think
tense.
it would be interesting if instead of a situation where you just had like a weaker form, like with Metamorine fusion, what you got instead was something that was just like pure and utter chaos, like a form of complete unrestrained like monstrosity level power. Like think something like Kill la Kill when the outfit that the main character is wearing goes totally crazy due to her boiling bloodlust, and she becomes like monstrous for a little while. You have a situation like that where the fusion is all sorts of jacked up, and so they're like, we have to hold him off until the time limit is up, or maybe even kill him if you're going based off of the rules that were originally established back in DBZ.
It could be even more unstable than Fuse Zamasu when he started to fall.
You know what? Let's make a note of that because that sounds really cool.
You have like an eldritch horror situation a la Akira with Tetsuo.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's gonna happen. It could be anything. Anything could happen, and that would make the stakes like, oh my god, okay.
I am Gota, the Elder Saiyan monster.
It's like, yeah, Gota shouldn't be. It's like,
and
then
those
Super
Saiyan hair overgrowing everywhere,
and Super Boo would just be like, forget this. It's like,
screw this, I'm out.
If I had a heart, I'd be having a heart attack. He'd be just like,
let me back into the white void.
It's like, I want back in the ball. Just like, yeah, no. Neshomancer. What if Gohan married Android 18? I could see her falling for Gohan after he saved her from Cell. What?
No.
Wait.
No.
Say. Wait. Hold on. Audio problems. What?
What if Gohan married Android 18? I could see her falling for Gohan after he saved her from Cell.
He's 11!
I'm 6! Wow.
Wow. Come on. He's 11. Even if you wanted to time skip, that means what? Android 18 is going to just be like stalking him until he starts going to Orange Star High School?
That would be weird.
That is so screwed up.
Yeah,
and I mean,
even
I know that
she's 19 and age difference between her and Krillin is also big, Well,
I mean,
but at
here's
that
the difference, though. Here's the difference, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
18 and Krillin are a pair of consenting adults, regardless of the gap. My own parents have a 7-year age gap between the two of them. But the problem is the fact that like the implication here is that she falls in love with a child and eventually marries this child.
Yeah.
Very not cool.
Yeah,
that's what I was getting at.
I mean, with Android 8 and with androids, the question of how they age, you don't really age. You age mentally.
I mean,
you age mentally in terms of you get more mature, but your body, it either doesn't age or it ages much slower.
if you really wanted to turn it into some kind of creepy comedy, I mean, Android 18 could theoretically pass herself off as a teenager and go to his high school. But dear God,
No.
guys, come on!
No.
Let's move on
Sorry,
from that.
no.
Please.
Okay, Frank
Yeah,
Taffy. What if after King Kai senses one of his students using Kaioken to an unnatural limit, but in the process, he burns his soul away, never to be redsed? Goku, I think, would go mad knowing this. Essentially, Kaioken infinity. So basically, King Kai senses... Oh no! One of my old students from back in the day is using Kaioken for nefarious purposes! Goku! You got to stop him! So pretty much just like that. And then basically, like, you just hear, like, you know, Kaioken times a million.
And Goku would be like, Kaioken times million plus 1.
Curses!
I'm not entirely certain I understand the question, because I mean, there's obviously an implication there. They said like using this technique would obviously prevent resurrection because it burns your soul away. So is the idea here that Goku uses Kaioken?
No, it
times
implies
infinity?
that maybe like a past student of King Kai's, like centuries ago, had started to use Kaioken for the evil deeds. So basically, he's managed to use Kaioken for way more than it's intended to. And basically, he's burnt his soul away to a husk that he's basically just a walking killing machine. I mean, that'd be kind of
interesting.
cool, but I
It's
think...
basically Voldemort.
Yeah. And Podo then says, nothing can stop Beerus from waking up. Well, maybe a bit big enough pillow and enough food. If you give him a nice food baby... Yeah, he'd go back to sleep, no problem. Paparazzi.
Comfy enough bed.
Exactly. What if seeing his son's leadership cold turned good? You know what? Cold to me strikes me as pure neutral. As in, like, he
is pure and utter pragmatism.
Either neutral or lawful evil.
Lawful evil.
Lawful evil.
Yeah,
It's a debate between the two. Lawful evil is a much safer bet. Yeah.
It's a difference between a character like Palpatine and a character like the Godfather.
Yeah.
A lawful evil individual is someone who will use criminal ends to a greater purpose in mind. You know, like he's trying to build an empire and build a wealthy establishment for his whole brand, essentially, of the Cold Force when he's in charge. Frieza is vicious, malicious, and just evil.
Yes.
And he rules with an iron fist for cruel vanity and pleasure. So yeah, it's the difference between law and chaos.
Cold would be more likely to turn good, but mainly just for but he is already kind of like, if he sees something that is going along which he doesn't particularly like, but it gets results, he'll just say, I'll allow it. As in, like, if it gets results that benefit him, then yeah, fine, whatever.
But we also need to remember that he chose Frieza because he believed that his evil and ruthlessness was what the Empire needed at this. So,
yes,
you know, keep that in mind.
That is true.
He isn't innocent in that.
Yeah, not entirely, but yeah. No,
He knew what he was choosing. He intended Empire to go like that. I think he just he didn't felt like a conqueror really, and that's why he decided to give it.
It wasn't going fast enough, pretty much.
Yeah.
He wanted to speed it up, and it certainly did. Stephen Palomo, what if Kami had foreseen Beerus coming back before the Saiyan saga? The thing is, though, Beerus is such a very big enigma. I don't think Kami would have been able to foresee that. Because Beerus could wake up at any moment for any reason. So
even if he did, there's literally nothing he could do about it.
What can he do? What can he just say? Oh, there's this god of destruction who's about to destroy things. You cannot beat him. Good luck with that.
At the very best, he would try to like create a dialogue with maybe like the Kais or something and be like, "Hey, King Kai, what do you know about this force known as Beerus?" And King Kai would tell him what he knew. Yeah. And then he'd be like, okay, well, how can we prepare for it should he decide to wreak havoc on our planet? And King Kai would tell him, You can't.
You're gonna need food. Lots of food.
Yeah, so basically, all you could do is that Kami would steer them in the right direction. That's all he could do.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Anime Guy 01. What if Goku used more aspects of spirit control? Ah, well, we might see that in the manga. So basically, but if Goku, I mean, as far as I could tell, you could specialize, you know, a student of a Yardratian could specialize in one of 3. And I think Goku chose to focus on instant transmission.
We saw him using multiform in Cell games, so...
Okay. That's true.
Yeah, we did. Did we? We did, right? I'm not imagining
Sort
that.
of. No, that wasn't that Cell used multiform.
Yeah, Cell did, but I don't remember.
But that was like, that was
We are
more...
number 1.
Yeah,
that was more about Ten Shinhan.
I'm pretty sure that Goku did use multiform after Yardrat at some point, but I don't remember when.
I can't remember, but he probably stole it.
Maybe-
It was probably more of a variation of Ten Shinhan's thing.
Yeah, still,
But-
still to come back at this. Yeah, like his instant transmission is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm more curious what Vegeta.
Yeah, well,
would
that's the
use.
thing. That's the biggest question about what is he going to pick. Like, multiform or gigantism, like a giant Vegeta. Who's shot now, peons?
Also, one thing that we need to remember is that spirit control isn't exclusively those 3 things. Those things are
It's
included.
examples. It could be a
Yeah.
4th thing. We don't know. But yeah, we'll find out more. Jisoya, what if the next non-Saiyan main antagonist had a full head of hair? No, seriously, why are all the non-Saiyan main antagonists bald? Because they're bald this way.
Well, a lot of alien designs incorporate the more like tend to incorporate features that don't mesh well with a lot of hair. But I mean, if you're looking at the manga, Moro's got lots of hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, certainly
and
in one form, yeah.
And then in like Super Dragon Ball Heroes and stuff, any Saiyan villain has hair, except for Nappa.
Hearts
But-
have hair. Yeah.
The biggest thing is mostly, I think, that it's part of Toriyama's kind of limitations as a designer when it comes to character aesthetic. You also saw this happen quite a bit with characters in his other series that he's done art for, including but not limited to Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest. You get a lot of those enemies that, because they're designed with a certain aesthetic in mind, whether it be bugs or robotics or reptiles, they don't include hair. So that's kind of the reasoning behind that, I think.
Yeah,
And
okay.
androids originally had hair.
The androids did have hair. Yes.
That is true. Okay. Anthony Phillips. What if the nameless Namekian had split a few decades later and the Kami of the previous generation chose Master Roshi as his successor, since Kami wasn't around quite yet? Well, as far as I could tell, they had to, at that moment, right then on now. Otherwise, Garlic Sr. would have won. It was like, they had to do it right now. Or, you know, very, very soon. If they didn't, it would have all fallen apart. Pretty much. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I think that's just the short of it, really. That there's not really much more to say. I mean, in terms of Roshi as a successor, maybe it's more of a hermit lifestyle, it's kind of appealing, but he wouldn't have. But his desires wouldn't have been able to.
He would use it for nefarious needs.
Yeah,
yeah. If there was a problem, with the darkness present in the nameless Namekian's heart, I think there would be plenty of problems with the darkness present in Roshi's heart.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Now I can use my special Guardian of Earth powers to keep a close eye on all those ladies.
Well, don't you see? She's in danger. Yes, in danger of you, Guardian.
In danger of splitting those pants.
Oh, Paparazzi. What if all the moons around the world of the Kais affected the Saiyans? A Proto-Super Saiyan 4, or wrathful, and not being able to function? So basically, around the world of the Kais. Well, the thing is, though, they're not a full moon. Most of them are like kind of like the crescent moons and stuff like that. And they probably don't give off Blutz energy that much. Because it's a very different realm. The realm of the Kais is really different. So Blutz waves probably don't apply. again, there's not enough evidence in that regard. But if they did, if it discovered it, they probably would have just told Goku wear dark glasses.
Yeah.
Pretty long and the short of it, really. Mango tree.
He would just steal Roche's glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's done it once before and stuff like that. Whoa, Kurosharo! Wow, thank you so much. I'm so yeah. Wow. Okay. One long message shortened. I have great love and respect for all of you. I'd like to give a sincere thank you for all of your What If series, but especially the ones based on my favorite wasted potential characters, Raditz and Krillin. Can't wait for episode 5 of R&R and Krillin. Oh, thanks, dude.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And don't worry, we'll hopefully have R&R out before the end of the year. So yeah, and with that, Kurosharo, you are the new stream boss. That was like, wow, thank you.
You are the stream emperor.
Thank you so much, Kurosharo. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Let's get back to work, guys. Okay. What if Tora from Bardock's crew survived and escaped from Freezer and years later went to find Goku on Earth and joined the Z Fighters? P.S. I love you. Aw, cheers, Mango. Much obliged. But Tora, out of all of them, seems like the most lawful one out of the group. And I think if he saw that, he would take personal responsibility to make sure Goku's okay. And I think he would abide by all the Earthlings there, saying, look, okay, you are taking care of Goku and Kakarot. I really appreciate that. I'll come back and check up on him. And when the time is right, I will take him off your hands.
He's basically the TN of the group, I would say.
Yeah, I would say he probably would let Goku or Kakarot or whatever he wants to call him live a normal childhood. And then when the time is right, he'll say, look, I'll take him off your hands when he's grown up. And stuff like that. He would be like an observer and a watcher-overer in that regard.
You know what? That's worth making note of. That
yeah, let's make a note of that. We'll make a note of that. Definitely. Good idea, Mango.
Yeah.
John Schneider.
Yeah.
What if the Saiyans behaved and acted like Goku naturally? Universe 6. Sort of.
Yeah, Universe 6, sort of.
Mostly Universe 6. Maybe
Most.
people like Renzo almost. You know. A bit goofy, but otherwise good-natured. So, Universe 6, really. Paparazzo, what if Vegeta and Launch got together? Well, you know, strong-willed Saiyans. Basically, if Launch wasn't forgotten and got to the punch first, you know, potentially. You know. And I think...
Yeah.
I think Vegeta would prefer the blonde Launch one. And the blue Launch one... Yeah, he'd be like, oh my god. But that kind of thing. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
I would definitely say...
Yeah.
Interesting. I'd say interesting and not impossible. Anthony Phillips spams low kicks. I think that's in relevance to the Street Fighter What If.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way in Street Fighter 4. Definitely. Seriously, the majority of the online games I played in that, everyone was just spamming low kicks, I swear to God. Thomas Dunn. What if Piccolo turned Gohan evil? Well, if you talk about my What If video, what if DragonBallZ never happened? That's pretty much what goes down. That Piccolo indoctrinates Gohan. So if you check that video out, that will answer your question, Thomas. Because I think that's a more logical way. Basically, I've got to make the most of this. I've got to indoctrinate this kid. That kind of thing. To make him... It's like the Piccolo Jr. arc. Again. Yeah, like the resurgence. Doc Silver Online. What if turning Super Saiyan had no visual differences? Would it have any impact in the show? Also, more importantly, how would it affect the real world? The show's popularity, pop culture, in fact... This is an interesting question. If Super Saiyan didn't have any visual changes, the amount of toys and the visual significance of the show would be much less.
Well, and they wouldn't have been able to iterate on it either.
No.
Because, you know, you have your Super Saiyan transformation, and they're like, hey, how can we iterate on this design? And that led them down the whole rabbit hole of new Super Saiyan designs. If it had just been an invisible power-up, a power-up that wasn't in any way impactful and as visually appealing as it was, it would. I don't think we would have even gotten very many, if any, further transformations down the line. It would have just been various different characters reaching that same kind of pinnacle.
Yeah. It would be yeah, again, this is a marketing decision in a way. Initially, it was for convenience on Toriyama's part, but more of these forms, more ways to sell toys. Sorry.
If it was visually the same exact thing as normal without any of the extra design, Toriyama would have spent more money on inking.
Exactly. And
That's about the only effect it would have had on his end.
Torishima wouldn't have allowed it. It's like, what are you doing? So that's a Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
He doesn't look any different. Make him different. And
we all know Torishima liked his transformations.
yeah, he did. He certainly did. He would have gotten his way. Andres Marrero.
Yeah.
What if Launch and Urine permanently fused? Would that technically be a three-way fusion? 3 personalities, magic, technology, and ki?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think almost...
It's one person. It would be more that person who fused at the time.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I don't know, because, I mean, you could play with it a little bit. Because what you could do is you could have it to where it works like 2 different fusions. What it is, like, let's assume that it was Blue Launch and Yurin, okay? So they fuse, but then their fused character, whatever you want to call her, Rurin or Yuranch, whatever, she sneezes. And then suddenly she becomes a person who is reminiscent of if Yurin had fused with Long Launch.
yeah. It'd be interesting. Actually, that would be very, very curious. But because yeah, the whole I like the character of Yurin for a potential love interest for Ten Shinhan, or at least an apprentice. That went nowhere. Like, yeah, what if Yurin was relevant? Seriously,
yeah.
I like the character. I like the idea of the character, but I'm just like, you didn't do anything with it, and you probably never will. It's just launched 2.0. You've forgotten about her. CJ Kid 1231. What if Raditz came to Earth to reveal that Yamcha was his brother, thus making Yamcha the Saiyan and Goku a human? It's like, oh, it'd be so much funny if he mistook Yamcha for Kakarot. It's like, ah yes, the Saiyan! Oh, your hair's changed a little bit, but you certainly look like a wild beast! Well, thanks! You know, the ladies certainly love it.
You know what? That's a great April Fool's one. If he actually recruited him.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh, that could be fun.
That would be hilarious. Of course, like a little bit silly, but I love this so much. I think this is so far my favorite for the April Fool's series.
Oh.
I think we're gonna tackle that in the wacky lightning round or something.
You'll make a note of that, definitely.
Yeah.
Ryuga Knight. What if Grandpa Gohan came back to meet modern Goku and his family for a day? I don't think he would. You only get one day, and I think Gohan's just content to have a hermit lifestyle in the other world. So, he probably would want to, like, you know, keep an eye. And who's to say that when Goku was in the other world for 7 years, he met up with Grandpa Gohan again? He probably might have done.
Yeah.
Like, and they got it out of the system. They said, "Oh, I've had a great time," you know. And then Gohan would have been, "Oh, that's really nice. Thank you for telling me, son." And then that would have been that, really. But if he came back,
I didn't stump anyone more as an ape, Gramps. That's my boy.
That's my boy. I'm glad. I'm proud. It would have been interesting for Gohan to meet Gohan. That would have been cool.
Hey, Gohan, I'm your great grandpa Gohan.
Yeah, that would have been sweet, but it would have only just been for a bit of fan service. It wouldn't really have added to anything meaningful. Dr. YT152. What if Kami was the one to absorb Piccolo instead of Piccolo absorbing Kami? So basically, if Kami was the dominant personality, if that was the case, then the Kamikolo would have been weaker. Or it would have been a different really kind. It probably wouldn't have been like... Piccolo was a much more dominant personality. And Kami recognized the fact that I can lend you my strengths to make us complete again. But Kami was not interested to be running the show. Pretty much. Mm-hmm. It was just letting Piccolo do his thing and make him stronger. So if Kami was the one to...
Piccolo was younger. That was a natural choice, you know?
It was out of that. So basically, if Kami was the one to absorb Piccolo, it would have been very weird. It would have been a foolish decision, because Kami is a very old being, and not that strong. So he might have been gotten stronger relatively, but ultimately it would have been a bit of a odd choice. So yeah. Heartless Fang. Not a what if, but if Piccolo created monsters like his father from eggs, would they come out evil like he was, or good like he is now? I would probably say if he did that, if he even has the ability to do so, they probably would be good, because they'd probably be just genuine sons, like proper Namekians, because he is a good spirit. He is a good... they're not mutants.
And I mean, by the time King Piccolo had him, he'd pretty much exhausted the entirety of his quote-unquote mutated children, essentially.
And he used the last of his strength, and it's also because Toriyama had an idea about what he wanted to do with the actual children. Just saying. He actually had an idea about what he wanted to do.
Look, Goku, these are my new sons. They will help me. This is saxophone, trumpet, and autotune.
Autotune.
Frostbite. Just
Meet my child, Theremin.
And everyone just sees the weird one that just goes... Stuff like that. He has a sound thing that basically turns people crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Frostbite. Just wondering, does TFS Nappa train and learn Super Saiyan in his spare time from producing movies? I think TFS Nappa in his spare time does yoga. He goes to like classes, kind of self-help classes. He's more like a guru. There's no time in the day to learn Super Saiyan. Unless
he's gotten into that anger management lifestyle.
Trust me, it really works. Kenshin, what if Vegeta got his wish for eternal life and became a lich? What if our Pazuzu expert could permanently edit something in the DBZ in the DB universe? So basically, if Vegeta became the Lich King.
I mean, a leech means that you need to have a phylactery of some sort that keeps you alive,
Yeah, because he'd have to take his soul out. He'd have to put it in a phylactery.
Oh,
He'd
like
become an
a Horcrux.
ugly zombie thing.
Yeah.
It's a Horcrux.
Well, not... Haverok, it is so hard dealing with somebody who isn't as well educated on this situation.
I could end the quiz, Less of the insults you.
Bit like Aladdin, Mas.
Oh, it's like Aladdin, but with balls.
Yes. Like Aladdin with balls, exactly. But
seriously.
to be quite honest, a leech kind of implies that his soul is somewhere in an object that, when destroyed, means that he's going away. So Vegeta would put his soul in his armor because it's Vegeta, come on.
Yeah, and okay, so in relation to the whole Aladdin thing, I have one of my oldest friends, his girlfriend, who knows nothing about anime, got to the point of describing... So I had to describe what I did, and I tried very basically about, like, wish-granting orbs, that kind of stuff. And her conclusion was, oh, so it's like Aladdin, but with balls. What? It's like, what? And I was like, I felt like Frieza. Sorry, that's a new one. Who are you exactly? And it's just like, this person is in charge, helps out with our healthcare. I won't say who it is, but it's like, yeah, she has a very, very major job, and I'm like, wow. Oh, okay. And yeah, no, MK, I was like, what? And Anthony Lipka, to be honest, it'd be, having these balls makes me feel an emotion that resembles joy, I think. I wish to caress them. I hope that this pleases you, my horned highness.
Let's move on.
Okay.
We've got to move on, and we're just gonna die laughing.
Dot Prince Revan. Hi Roundtable, thank you for all the what if content, and I made a what if Raditz was female fan art. I tagged Masako in on Twitter. Catch you later. Oh, did you? I haven't seen it.
Ooh.
I have not seen it. Could you tag me in that again, please? I'm curious. You have made me curious, sir.
I am also curious about this interesting gender bend.
Yeah, absolutely. White Oak 09. What if Icarus was canon? Oh, Goku would have eaten him. There's no doubt.
If he was a cannon, he would be used for shooting.
Shoot him out of a cannon.
That's my canon, Icarus.
Sorry, White Oak. I think realistically, the dragon, his role as a dragon probably would be limited, and he wouldn't.
I
really
mean,
have much
I mean, again, Icarus would be kind of cool if he grew up and he would be that giant dragon, and he would be the Saya dragon of Saiyaman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my gosh, the great Saiyaman
Riding on a dragon.
like an Alduin-sized Icarus,
Yes,
like make him super cool looking.
Yes.
Oh my, I would love that fan art.
And it'd be basically the meme is, oh my god, what happened to him? Puberty hit him like a freaking bus. And so, okay, Brendan Little.
Wow, Gohan, your dragon's really been eating his Wheaties.
It's like, yeah, it's like, he'd probably get really shy about, what do you mean? It's like, Brendan Little. We probably know the answer, but it's worth asking. Would adult ranch bridal carry trunks when they get hitched and tease them over their size difference? Like, aw, look how big my baby boyfriend is now. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I want fan art of it.
There's
Stat.
already.
Oh, seriously, adult ranch? Oh, no. Seriously. You know, I saw somebody ordered the poster, which is available by MasakoX, masako.cc/ranch, by the way.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Well, technically, it's not sponsored, it's me. But basically, they had the ranch poster next to all these different images, posters of Dragon Ball. Nearly all male characters. And then this one, female. And everybody loves her. And I'm like, I've done it. I've managed to make a character who is in keeping with the lore of the show and is genuine. And I'm like, I love it. And clearly you guys love it too. Because that's the thing.
I love her.
Buff Ranch is so much like her dad. And that's why it feels genuine. It's not shoehorned
All the best
in.
parts of her father and mother.
Exactly.
We refer to her as brunch right now. You know?
No, brunch. Everybody has time for brunch. Seriously.
Everybody got
Seriously,
time for brunch.
breakfast at 10 a.m. Yes, please. Yeah. So okay, moving on. Kenshin491. Cooler does have a son. Wink. Oh, Cooler hits the sun. Oh, I like that. That was good. Isaiah Frazier. DB0. If Raditz' whole team survived until Vegeta and Nappa showed up instead of just Raditz. I really need to catch up on Zero. I've really slacked up on it. It's been ages since I've read it. I need to read it again before I could give an honest answer about it. Thoughts, guys?
I have no knowledge.
I've only been exposed to Zero peripherally. I have to totally go back and check it out, especially if I'm going to be doing some more Raditz centric stuff in the future. I couldn't say. Not with how little I've got of an understanding of Zero.
Yeah, so unfortunately, mate, we got to be honest. We need to bone up on that before we can actually give you an honest answer. But you know, hey, you get us to reread a manga that's pretty awesome. So yeah, you've done your job. So we appreciate
Maybe
that.
we'll make an episode on that. You know.
Yeah, maybe it'd be interesting since it is Raditz based and people like Raditz.
You know what we could do, guys, is we could have like almost like a book club stream or something where we just kind of talk about it as well.
Okay.
After reading it.
Dragon Book. Is
Yeah,
the Dragon
Dragon
Book?
Book.
And Mas, we can use it to
We
review the manga chapters, for example.
We could, and then like we could talk about the manga chapters, or we could talk about the various fan stuff like Dragon Ball Zero, Dragon Ball Psi, Dragon Ball AF.
I have the manga reviews, but then we can just have a sit down talk about. the chapter.
Exactly.
The life
Exactly.
take, reviews. Reviews are, something organized, something written, something after a moment on consideration. But this would be a hot take. Anyway, we can discuss this after the.
We'll discuss that. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Blaze Trolley. Hey, Masako, what if Goku never bumped his head? Well, I did a video on that. What if Goku stayed evil? Basically, if you watch that video, that will answer your question, because that is pretty much, I think, the closest thing that would happen. The Batosai 6009. If Super Saiyan 5 were to be introduced, how, when in the story would you introduce it? I personally would make it the last most powerful form. Well, the thing is, though, there is no Super Saiyan 4 in the main lore yet, but if you're talking about it throughout the entirety of everything, Super Saiyan 5 would, it would have to be literally, you'd replace Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta with Super Saiyan 5 Gogeta. Like, the combination of two Super Saiyan 4s make a Super Saiyan 5, and that's the only time you see it. And
I have a personal, I have a different take, but it would require a lot of work.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is my best guess on the fly.
Yeah, for me, I would take Super Saiyan 5, and I would make it basically a combination of Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan God. I would make Super Saiyan 5 kind of into what a lot of people hoped Super Saiyan God would be like prior to the actual release of Battle of Gods. I think what I would do is I would rewrite the timeline to have them achieve Super Saiyan 4 in some other fashion, without having to go through all of GT for that nonsense. And then, in order to achieve Super Saiyan 5, which I would make the pinnacle, I would have it be kind of like, you know how Vegeta's got his Super Saiyan Blue evolution type of thing? What Super Saiyan 5 would be is you take Super Saiyan 4, you add God Key to it through the Super Saiyan God ritual, which turns it into Super Saiyan God. And then you further evolve that form, and it becomes what is essentially Super Saiyan 5, which is how I would handle it.
Okay. All right, that seems like a fair idea.
To finish it off, I would do it like Super Saiyan 5 is very powerful, but once you go, you are stuck in it.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Add a bit.
Monkey's
And you
paw.
pay a price. You lose yourself into the form, and you are stuck permanently into that form.
Okay. Paparazzo says, you guys should do a stream on Sophie's channel. Well, we would be down to have a discussion stream on there.
I would love to. The biggest thing is that I'd have to give access to somebody. I'd have to give access to Masako to be the one who hosted the stream through my channel. I'd have to give him access to my channel for that, because I live in a very rural area with horrible internet. And so I don't have the upload speeds or download speeds required. Like, I can communicate with you guys on a voice chat for this sort of thing, but I couldn't host my own stream and have it work because I live in farmland.
Yeah, so that's the case why it hasn't happened sooner, Paparazzo, I'm afraid. Anime Guy 01. What if Goku actually created his own techniques? Well, guys, he did. Media Crash. That's Media Crash.
Dragon Punch.
Dragon Fist.
I will say this much. In Dragon Ball Xenoverse, I get a lot of mileage out of the Meteor Crash.
Meteor Crash is really good. And I think the only time you see it in the anime properly is during the Majin Vegeta fight. I think that's the only time you see it. But no, it's a really good one. But if he did, the ones that he has created are really good. Like, really good. Like, Super Kaioken? Kaioken Blue is kind of his thing? His own unique twist. Super Kaioken, that's a thing, yeah.
It's in my goddamn name, Goku.
My freaking name is in it.
Yeah, I don't know if I could even consider like Kaioken Blue to really be his, because it's just taking
his variation of
it's Super Saiyan and Knuckles is what it is.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. All right, let's move on. Brendan Little, out of curiosity, out of all the characters OC or altered canon, the what ifs, who are the biggest cinnamon rolls? Oh,
Good Boy 21.
Good Boy 21.
Good Boy 21's a real cinnamon roll. Both of his children. Ranch is obviously a cinnamon roll. Goten.
Okay, here we go. How about the one
adorable.
I've seen? Like, looks like a cinnamon roll, could kill you. Looks like it could kill you, is a cinnamon roll. Looks like it is a cinnamon roll, is a cinnamon roll. Looks like it could kill you, would kill you, cinnamon roll. So
I can already answer the cinnamon roll one.
Good Boy 21 is a cinnamon roll, could kill you. Looks like a cinnamon roll is a cinnamon roll. I'll go 10. Looks like a cinnamon roll could kill you. Looks like a cinnamon roll is a cinnamon roll. Who's that? Sophie?
Wait, what?
Who is a cinnamon? Looks like a cinnamon roll. Is a cinnamon roll.
That's Goten.
Yeah,
that
okay,
one's definitely Goten. Yeah.
Okay, who looks like he could kill you? Is a cinnamon roll.
Oh gosh.
Nappa. Good boy, Nappa.
Good boy, Nappa. Okay.
Good boy, Nappa.
What about looks like it
good
could
boy,
kill you?
Nappa.
What about looks like it could kill you? Would kill you?
Vegeta.
Yeah, Berserk Vegeta, not like the Rogue Vegeta from the Bardock What If. Basically, Hulk Vegeta. In that regard, I think
Rogue,
so.
the Rogue Vegeta, and I also think the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta from What If Raditz Turned Good is very
Super
much
Saiyan
a
4
sort of...
Vegeta. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Good question, Brandon.
And then Cinnamon Roll is obviously Brunch.
Brunch.
Yes.
Brunch. Okay,
Super Saiyan
Philip
Brunch.
Perkins. Philip Perkins. What if Shin took Gohan to train with the Z sword right after the Cell games to prepare for Buu? The Elder Kai was to be... Okay, so basically if Shin got his act together and warned the guys about Majin Buu sooner... So basically like, oh hey, Gohan, this thing with the Z sword, you might want to use it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if he showed up before if he showed up before the Tenkaichi Budokai, because I mean, Babidi and his cronies had to have been there for at least a little while in order to set up, like,
and also
sending Spopovich and Yamu over there.
Gohan would have been stronger. He would have been at his prime. So if he got ultimate form then, okay, let's make a note of that.
Yeah.
Let's make a note of that. That could be
Vegeta
cool.
would probably blast Babidi before he would do anything.
Yeah, but let's make a note
Yet
of that.
another timeline
interested.
where Shin can actually be worthwhile.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's make a note of that. Okay, cool. Good job, Philip. Shikage Maru. Sorry for the repeat. What if Vegeta landed on Namek with two abilities he learned from fighting Goku, Ki Sensing and Kaioken? Well, he did somehow learn how to sense Ki. Sort of. Kaioken, you need more direct training for that.
Even if he somehow, like, even if you wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt, and he learned how to utilize Kaioken from experiencing it, right? He wouldn't be able to utilize it beyond its base concept, which would basically be a times and a half to 2 times modifier on his power. But all that would actually mean would be bad for him in the short run, because it means that he wouldn't have gotten the Zenkai boost that he needed against Zarbon, and then he would have wound up using the Kaioken technique against Raccoon, but still winding up getting beat up. But he'd be a Zenkai boost behind, which means that he wouldn't have been able to go toe-to-toe with Frieza. And so, I don't know. I mean, it could very much be a situation where we have to play the sound.
Okay, let's do it. We haven't played it much. Okay, let's move on. Anthony Phillips. What if Frieza turned wood? Took up wood turning as a hobby and became a master craftsman, making bespoke pens and candlesticks. Oh,
Retires out to the wilderness.
Basically, he retires out to the wilderness. Ah, perfect balance, as it should be.
Yeah. He would have that, he would have that video conferences with, "Hey, Cell, how's that craft brewing going on?"
Yeah, they basically become altruistic.
Got his old armor as a scarecrow.
Yeah.
No, basically he becomes a hipster craftsman.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. Matthew Gaylord. How different would DBZ be if had it occurred in Universe 6 minus the destroyed Earth? Assuming everything's the same mostly until Z with Universe 6 Raditz, Nappa, and Sadala. Well, Raditz and Nappa wouldn't exist as they are because, the Saiyans are very different people.
Let's assume that Sadala and Vegeta are 2 separate entities in this regard. So I think what they're asking essentially is everything is basically like Universe 6 in that sense, where Sadala has good Saiyans on it, and Vegeta would be where the evil Saiyans were. So the evil Saiyans get wiped out by Frieza, but the good Saiyans are still there as like honorable warriors and stuff. How would they change the timeline of events if they got involved?
Okay. Ooh.
I'm not entirely certain if it would work, just because we don't know the full power scaling of these Saiyans, but it would have probably resulted in some kind of war between Frieza's empire and the people of Sadala. they would have probably wound up being wiped out as well in the long run, and you would have had a situation that was still more or less the same. Just like you might be able to throw Kaba and maybe a couple of other Saiyan characters, like recognizable ones,
There would,
in there.
There would be Frost in the mix, so Frost could play both sides in the war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Anthony Phillips. What if Smokey turned evil? Well, he already is kind of evil. Yeah, he's a little evil by being a little, greedy pig. He's about like 1 pound overweight, so we need to actually give him.
Smokey's your cat, right?
Yes, he's referring to my cat.
Smokey is a cat. Cats are inherently evil.
Yeah,
Smokey is is the god of destruction.
Yeah, no, everyone compares him to Beerus for some reason. Yeah. Victor Bryce. What if someone wished for Shenron's freedom? That's an interesting question, but the thing is, though, they're linked to the Dragon Ball. So if Shenron was made into a free dragon, the Dragon Balls would disappear. So
yeah,
Shenron
and I don't.
Where would he live?
Well, and that's the thing is, I don't ever picture Shenron as being like a genie situation. I don't picture him as being enslaved. I picture it more as like a situation where the dragons of the people who create the Dragon Balls, right? These dragons exist in a different dimension, a different space. All the Dragon Balls are a way of releasing excess power and energy and calling forth one of these representatives from this dimension. And by doing so, you've proven yourself worthy, because obviously they're scattered across an entire planet or across the entire universe, etc. You've proven yourself worthy, and they utilize their vast power to grant you a wish. I don't see them as being enslaved at all. If you wished for a dragon to remain in our realm, it would probably only cause like damage to damage to the fabric of reality, or even just damage the various different ecosystems of wherever they wound up.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I found Dark Prince Revan's the tweet.
Please share it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's really good. So yeah, if you guys want to check it out, I'll leave a link to it. Go down and check it out. So I
like it.
It's pretty good. Hey,
yeah.
That's pretty good. It's good job, Dark Prince. Dang, jeez, not bad at all.
Definitely gonna hop onto Twitter and give that a like and a retweet.
Absolutely. Matthew, have you guys already been pre-planning Good Boy Raditz Moro arc yet, or waiting till it ends? And thank you for these streams. Next, Goku married Bulma part. Goku married Bulma, that probably be down in the next couple of months. Raditz Moro arc, I'm waiting till the anime.
Yeah.
The anime. I'm following the Moro arc, the anime canon. So that could vary between the manga. So if I did everything as the anime and then did Moro as the manga, that would be a bit jarring, and it's not really keeping to why I like doing that kind of thing. So I'm observing, and I will make notes, but I will wait to see what the anime does, if they do the Moro arc at all. Knowing Toei, they might not do it.
But we are not refraining from using the new lore that was introduced in.
Yes.
For example, the new Yadrachian lore we already used. So if there's any new world lore that we can use,
yes,
we will probably use it.
Well, we'll make notes of it, definitely, since we now know it technically exists. Okay. SSJ3 Gohan. What if Piccolo Jr. fused with King Piccolo in the Buu Saga? Under theory, Junior is not the reincarnation of King, but truly just his son.
They'd have to bring back King Piccolo in some way, but even then, I don't think his power would grow all that much. Due to the fact that he's not so much a split off of King Piccolo in the same sense that Kami and Piccolo are. He's a creation that he poured a lot of his current power at the time into. Piccolo has grown a lot further beyond what his father was. He wouldn't experience the same kind of enormous boost that comes with rejoining Kami and their souls unifying again. So I think more or less it would be an utterly unnecessary move to make because it wouldn't have any kind of worthwhile gains. Uh-oh. Looks like Moss has got to take care of something.
Yeah, we lost Moss for a moment. So,
Love you.
what's the next question?
I don't know because I don't have access
Yeah.
to the list.
Yeah. Moss has the list. So, how are you guys?
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Had to check on the God Smokey. Come on, there. So I told you he was evil. Okay, so Seaton 2. What if Tarbal joins his brother in the Z Fighters after Yo, Son Goku and his friends return and get trained to get Super Saiyan and then Super Saiyan Blue? Well, I mean, we saw with Kaba, he could learn Super Saiyan like almost at once. But I think
pretty quick.
The thing is though, with Tarbal, he's not really geared towards being a fighter. We've said a few times, he's the guy behind the desk. Like, he's your tech guy. He's the guy who assists you from the sidelines.
He plays support, and I mean, I could see him maybe saying like, "Hey, I'm coming by. I just want to get some training from you, brother, because I want to be able to protect my family if the need comes." But I mean, apart from that, I don't think he joined the Z Fighters long term because Tarbal has a home.
Yeah,
Tarbal has a home and a life and a wife.
Yeah, exactly. He's found his life and found a wife. There you go. So I think that's the realistic goal. It'd be mainly just to ensure he could protect the people he loves, but not really for anything of wanting to become a true fighter. Anime Guy 01. What if Vegeta wished on the Super DragonBallZ to bring Universe 6's planet Sadala to Universe 7? I don't think he'd do that. No, he wouldn't do that, because Sadala is a very important planet to the safety of the universe. And also, Whis from Beerus would go like, what are you doing? Why? There'd be no reason. Just go and visit them, Vegeta! Seriously.
Yeah, seriously.
Just go and visit. It's like, no. And it's like, they're going like, no, you come here, Vegeta. No, you come here. So basically, no, you come here. No, you come here. That kind of thing. It's just like, ugh. No, it doesn't. If they did, Sadala would be in Universe 7. Whoop-de-doo. But then Universe 6 would be left without a big police force. It would run into chaos. And I think Vegeta's smart enough to know, yeah, I probably shouldn't do that. That kind of thing. Matthew again. April Fool What If? R&R meet Neko Margin. Neko Margin, you guys are really knowledgeable about that stuff. Jeez.
You guys really seem to like Neko Margin.
I think you have to read it, Sophie.
First thing about it.
I think you've got to now, because you're just getting so many asks for it.
So many people want it, and I'm just not into gag manga.
No, I read it just for the sake of the manga, so you can actually give an answer. But I think with I think Raditz would get on with Lord Onio, like, because this Onio guy, he could go Super Saiyan, and it's just like, oh my god! Well, it just shows it's like a Super Saiyan bargain sale or something like that. Am I right, Vegeta? Or something like that. Something like that kind of crossover. Axel Kasai. What if Goku got innocent people killed in a fight? Do you think that would affect him?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, he reacts pretty strongly to situations where innocent people get killed. He reacts pretty strongly to what Jiro does in the Android Saga. He reacts very strongly to what Vegeta does when he's Majin Vegeta. I do think that while it is true that he isn't nearly so heroic Superman-esque as the localization tends to make him, and just the anime in general compared to the manga, I do think that he's definitely the kind of person who does not like it when innocents are hurt by other people's evil intentions and bullying.
I mean, basically with Goku and Frieza, I will not let you get away with this! Yeah. And then basically just like, that kind of thing. That was my Schemmel 1999 impression. Yeah. Then, I mean, and the thing is that if you're a Dragon Ball voice actor, you also have to learn the good old Foley of doing the
the gritting of the teeth.
Yeah, just like Yeah, that kind of thing. Look at the Nash's and Goku Spirit Saiyan, yeah.
My old favorite is the staple from Drummond's Ocean Vegeta for his power-ups, how he goes...
Oh, yeah!
And he's got that very throaty sound.
Now he's really getting huge! I don't have a choice! Ian Corlett's one's fun to do, but Peter Columbus wins it for me.
Okay,
yeah,
I really did enjoy that.
Okay, what if King Piccolo was an actual demon and not a Namekian? Well, for the longest time he was, but then it just turned out he was a slug dude. He was built up at the time in his arc.
That is much less impressive.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, that's the thing. He was meant to be the ultimate demon. But if he was, then he'd basically just be like Deborah. He might have stone-spitting powers or something like that, but if he did, he'd probably be... If he was an actual demon, he'd be way more powerful than he actually was.
Oh yeah, like if King Piccolo and Piccolo Jr. by proxy were Makai Ocean, they would be a hell of a lot more of a threat than they actually were.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
And you couldn't revive. As we know now, you couldn't revive their victims.
No.
Oopsie.
Yep, oopsie doodle. There you go.
Goku couldn't be revived because Makanko Sapo.
Yeah. Samurai ZK. What if Goku and Vegeta learn Super Saiyan 4 in Super? Again, the closest thing I would see is Wrathful form. Maybe.
I wouldn't mind it if it was supposed to parallel, like, because one of the big things about Vegeta in Super is that, like, he goes and he begs Whis to train him because he doesn't want to be surpassed by Goku having the Super Saiyan God power, right? I like the idea of maybe if Vegeta gained Super Saiyan 4 during Dragon Ball Super, it was because he wanted to achieve a power to rival Goku's without having to utilize something like Super Saiyan God. So very, very similar to like your Dragon Ball R&R situation. So he would acquire Super Saiyan 4 through his own power through some other means, whether it was scientific means like the Bloodswave Cannon, or just because he manages to hit a different point of stress that triggers the transformation, you know.
Okay. Yeah, again, that's a good point, Samurai. The Gomic Platypus now. What if Grandpa Gohan visited Bardock in Hell? If he did, he would probably... Why would he go there? And Bardock would kick his ass. Maybe before, but then say, hey, thanks for looking after my kid. And then kick his ass.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bardock would kick Grandpa Gohan's ass because, I mean, as we all know, Grandpa Gohan is one of those people who got to keep his body after death, and he's probably been training as a warrior, whereas Bardock is in hell. And so if Grandpa Gohan is in any way over the course of the years that we've gone from Dragon Ball through Dragon Ball Z and Super, if Grandpa Gohan is anything like some of the deceased warriors we've seen in like the filler and stuff, like people like Pikkon and Olibu and stuff like that, he's probably come a long way. Okay. And Bardock only had a power level of 10,000, so chances are good Gohan could take him.
Okay.
Grandpa Gohan would be like, youngster, I'm here to kick your ass because your son stomped on me and killed me. That would be catharsis by proxy because I love your son as my own grandson, but I don't care for you. I'm calm for my catharsis.
That's fair. Nick Wolf, what if instead of Super 17 arc, say in Revival arc, Baby's Black Star Wish brings back Planet Vegeta and the people? Arcs about why Saiyans shouldn't be revived. Oh, ooh, okay.
It would be cool if it brought both Science and the Taffles, and it's shown that both of them were kinda stinkers.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. So basically, it'd be like, wow, my race is kind of jerks. It's like that'd be a moment of clarity to actually go like, yeah, maybe they're not worth bringing back. That's the king.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make a note of that. Actually, that's a good.
That would definitely be a fun one.
Kenshin491 says, me kick down God. Elder God, you say? Also, basically, the Elder Kai.
Yeah.
It's in reference to that. Podo then.
Yes.
Last thing from me for the stream, voice request, darkest plot twist. Trunks, how? How did you do all of this? And Goku Black, cookie button.
You're the most evil person I ever know. Cookie button.
Cookies do not taste better than muffins.
Yeah. Oh, that's a classic. Paparacha, Go equals 5, an android Goku rebelling against the Red Ribbon Army. Oh, okay, so basically it's like an Android 5 type of thing, so referring to that one earlier. But again, an Android Goku, that is a very curious possibility. So thanks, Paparacha, we all have made a note of that. Yeah. And a Paparacha saying cold good is in parentheses becomes better. Yeah, sort of. Like, that's the more likely thing. He becomes slightly better, but not wholly good. So, in relevance to that. Yeah. Nick Wolf says, Saiyans don't suffocate in space because Black Star OP. Or something like that. I think that's in relation to the Nick Wolf thing. Yeah. So, yeah, I think if you brought the Black Star balls, it would literally, and the way you phrase the wish would bring you back everything. Like, Planet Vegeta, the Saiyans on it, that kind of stuff. So I think that's your clarifiers are good enough there. Jacked out.
It would definitely be a difficult situation too, because people would have to go and find the Black Star Dragon Balls to prevent the Earth from blowing up, all while dealing with the Saiyans as well.
Yeah, they have to do that all over again. Jacked out. What if Zamasu went too far back in time and got amnesia? Somehow just workshop it. Okay, you can go back in time so much. Is he still
Zamasu in this instance, or is he like Goku Black Zamasu? Because I mean,
I think he means like the regular Zamasu.
That would be kind of intriguing. It would be kind of like those old myths of gods who lose their divinity or whatever for a short time and live among mortals. And so he would probably wind up like finding somebody, maybe having a significant other. Oh my gosh, could you imagine the idea of like of half god children from an amnesiac Zamasu, and then when he gets his memory back, he's like he's super torn on the whole thing.
Like half angels, you say?
For example, like but this it's interesting. It's interesting idea, like having half guys,
Okay. Okay, well, definitely something to consider, but yeah, no, good point. Okay, let's see, I almost lost my list. Okay, oh, here we go. Scarlet Infinity. What if Vegeta took Frieza's offer to be in his army? Well...
what if Frieza saw Vegeta's potential? Isn't that...
That is pretty much... Like... Yeah, that is go and see the What if Frieza saw Vegeta's potential video. That will answer your question, Scarlet. Jagged out again. What if End of GT happened before Beerus woke up? End of GT happened before Beerus woke up. Well, technically, in that one, Beerus... We don't know what's happened with Beerus by the time you get to End of Z, whether he's literally just said, okay, I'm just going to go all hands off here right now. Or, like, he's just said to himself, I'm just done with you guys, or anything like that. So I think it really depends. So, but if Beerus never woke up at that time, then it really would not make a difference. It would just be GT.
Well, and you also got to remember that a lot of Beerus's actions are done as a reaction to prophecy. There's a good chance that if the events of End of GT ended up happening along the timeline prior to Beerus awakening, it would be a situation where the prophecy probably would have never been made with regards to the Super Saiyan God. So he would have no interest in Earth from the get-go.
Yeah, exactly. So there'd be no desire or any kind of connection to it. So that's the long and the short of it. Okay. The comment part says, what if Zenkai's had a chance to make Saiyans weaker? Ooh, that'd be a bit of throwing a bit of peril. Like, yeah, you get a Zenkai, but sometimes it might make you weaker. It would throw in a bit of jeopardy. I like that.
And you couldn't abuse it.
Yeah, because you would like go, no, I don't want to do it. It might make me weaker, or something like that.
Yeah.
It just throws in that little extra thing into the mix. So I like that. That would be a good thing. Like say, yeah, sure, you can make yourself stronger, maybe, but there's like a 1/3 chance you might end up making yourself weaker.
It's interesting because certainly Vegeta wouldn't rely on that.
Like,
If
Yeah,
there's a chance
yeah.
that he
Vegeta
can
wouldn't.
make it.
Vegeta
Yeah.
wouldn't chance it. Neither would
Yeah.
somebody like Raditz or a lot of various different Saiyans. I think.
Yeah.
no, they would just
Yeah.
go like,
Goku might, but oh, I'm weaker. I can trade it again and regain that power. For Goku, that would be like, okay.
okay, it didn't work that time. Let's try it again.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So okay,
Yeah.
Goku might try it, but again, it really depends.
Mhm.
Okay. Ace Heroic. What if Shenron required a sacrifice for wishes? That's not in keeping for a show for young teens. That's a little bit
Even if
morbid.
you wanted to argue that the violence of Dragon Ball Z, which isn't targeted towards little kids, even if you wanted to argue that the violence and more adult theming of Dragon Ball was like that, I think that a sacrifice of some kind is really dark, a really dark direction to take things, and ultimately, all it would mean is we just have to play the sound.
Yep. Yeah, that is the long and the short of it, really. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's not. It would be like it's not fitting for the show, in reality, unfortunately. Scarlet Infinity. What if half of all 12 universes were snapped by Thanos and the Super Dragon Balls can't reverse it? Avengers Endgame, just with Dragon Ball characters. You'd have to go back in time using a time machine, or Whis'
Bulma would.
or Whis being like somehow supercharged to be able to go back to even further than his do-over.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to feed him like loads and loads of food and make him into like some kind of dynamo.
No, I think even scarier would be Lord Beerus. I don't feel so good.
Oh God!
If
Whis was
was the one-
snapped.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, if Beerus and or Whis were snapped, it would come down to Bulma needing to rebuild the time machine, and they'd have to do a time heist.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Samurai ZK. How can we make Cooler canon? Oh, quite easily. I bet a lot of us bet that Cooler will end up being the next villain character in a movie. It will be Dragon Ball Super Cooler. And
Again, very Toriyama thing to do would be if Cooler is in literal cooler, like he's kept somewhere in like a cryostasis or something. You know?
Yeah, literally. And then basically Frieza finds out, and he's like, "You think I'm bad? My brother's even worse."
No, Frieza doesn't find out, but for example, Berry Blue or Frieza Force accidentally activated, and Frieza starts to panic or something. Because King called put him there because Cooler
was
tried
too good
to overthrow him essentially.
No, that's how it works at Samurai. And Samurais again. What if all DBZ movies are canon? What will change? Well, I've got my What If DBZ Movies Were Canon video from back in 2016. That will very much answer your question, Samurai. Evan is Majtovic. What if Goku landed on Vampa instead of Yardrat? Well, bug juice has certainly got a lot of protein for Saiyans, so he probably would do quite well.
Yeah,
He would die.
with push-ups, sit-ups, and plenty of bug juice, you get a lot of
to be
gains.
quite honest, play the song because Broly survived mostly because Paragus was around.
Oh, okay.
That's not actually entirely true, because we already saw that Broly had established himself a system by the time he had gotten there. The only thing that helped Broly's survival was the elimination of his tail. And if two of them were on the planet, something probably would have happened. They would have both wound up losing their tails somehow, because they would have figured it out eventually.
Yeah. No, that's that. Oh no! What if Goku landed on Vampa instead of Yardrat? Oh no, we talked about that pretty much. Okay, never mind. Sorry about that. It's getting quite late. Kenshin491. What if Videl was the 4th star dragon, or other 6 dragons are in disguise on Earth? So what? Basically, she turned out to be the 4-star dragon, but in human form. Well, it would be an interesting idea. It would be an interesting sign that that the 4-star ball keeps coming back to the Son family. So it would be an interesting thing in that regard, but you have
a lot of odd implications there.
Yeah, again, so many implications. I think too much for a stream, but let's make a note of that. Let's make a note of that, Kenshin. Seaton 2. Here's an idea for failed Potara fusions. If you place one earring upside down on the top of the ear and fuse, you get a fat version like a fusion like Viku. Imagine Fat Vegito or Fat Gota. I think that's not how earrings work. But if you
Well, I mean,
say for
you
someone who's
can
never
have
had it worn an
piercings.
earring or never seen one before, okay, you can have some yucks in that regard.
Failed Potara fusion. You put an earring, or you decide not to wear them as earrings and instead as nose rings, and put them in each nostril.
Yeah. And then just the shins go. I can't believe this. Really? So yeah, oh, that's a good one. Belsarius. Belsarius. What if Master Shin found Goku as a baby instead of Gohan? Well, we've talked about this quite a few times before, but basically it means that he would have raised him to be an assassin, and Ten Shinhan would have been his, like, mentor, almost. Or, like, his guardian or, like, supervisor or something. Yeah, pretty much along those lines. And especially if he hadn't bumped his head, he'd have been very chaotic, but he'd be like Master Shen's, the Crane School's secret weapon, almost. Samurai ZK, funny. What if Broly saw all Goku hair characters? I'm sorry, Samurai. I don't know what that means. So could you clarify? But we'll come back to that. D-Mel's. Dragon Ball Super is coming back as DB Ultra instead of DB Super. That's my theory. I don't think so. I think they'll just continue as Dragon Ball Super episode 132. Like, this is just a long hiatus.
Series 2 or something.
Yeah, Series 2. I think that's what we think.
If it was going to be called DB Ultra, I think it would be a sign that they intend to go deeper into the whole Ultra Instinct aspect.
Unless,
and tie it
yeah,
in as
that's a
but,
fair
yeah.
point. Yeah, that's true. That could be true. The comic Platypus. What if the Nameless Namekian was accidentally sent to Vampa? Well, there's no water on there. He'd probably die.
He could get he'd have to get his hydration from the bug juice.
It would not be an ideal diet.
It wouldn't be ideal for him, and I think what would probably wind up happening is you'd have a situation where he was trying to survive on Vampa for a while, and then Broly and Paragus would show up, and if he was fortunate, they'd be able to find some compatible parts for the ship and get the heck out of there.
It would be a long-term solution.
Yeah, if not, it might be a situation where they wound up like becoming friends, and the Nameless Namekian might have prevented Paragus's more extreme bad parenting, and they would have eventually been found sometime down the line by someone. But the Nameless Namekian not becoming the Guardian of Earth is very bad for Earth, because it means that the only other contender would have been Garlic Sr. So
yeah, okay. And Samurai ZK elaborates all Goku hairstyle characters.
So all of the Goku clones.
Oh, the Goku clones. Oh, okay. It's like Goku Black, Turles, all that kind of stuff.
Golden.
I think he'd be very...
And Bardock.
He'd be as confused as all of us, pretty much. Like, who is who.
Yeah.
It'd be who's who of Goku, pretty much. But yeah, pretty much just like that. Jeffrey...
Too many Son Gokus.
Yeah. Too many Gokes. Too many Gokes. Jeffrey Brandstetter. What if Perfect Cell won? As in, what if he defeated Gohan and Cell Comes? He'd have blown up the planet, and he would have gone on roam the stars for all eternity. Or until Beerus...
Play the sound!
I'm not even going to bother with that. That's too obvious.
Yeah.
Too obvious.
If he accidentally freed Moro in the process, Moro would have toasted him. Probably.
Yeah, no, basically, if he accidentally did it. But we don't know how that happened. Until we do, we can't answer that for sure.
Yeah.
Dark Prince Reverend, I retagged Masako. Hope that helps. Yep, certainly did. And we got it and retweeted it. We loved it. And then Jeffrey again. What if Goku's heart virus accidentally turned him into a zombie? What is this, 2011?
Well, it wouldn't matter too much, because the zombie wouldn't have any thought as far as martial arts go. And I mean, if he was a martial arts zombie, is he really a zombie at that point?
I mean, you wouldn't want to be punched by him. If you were set upon by that zombie, you're done. Yeah, pretty
But I mean,
much.
he wouldn't have any direct like self-preservation ability for like ki sensing and stuff like
And he
that.
couldn't
So
power up or
they could
anything.
take him out from a distance.
Yeah, and he couldn't power up or anything. He just had that innate power.
Muffins.
Grains. Grains. SSJ3 Gohan. Masako, did you get my what if Kakarot landed on Kami's lookout as a baby? I think it was skipped earlier by accident. No, I think YouTube ate that one. It does sometimes do that. But thanks very much for pointing
We
that
have
out.
covered that question before in the past, though. Most of us are of the opinion that it would have probably been a very similar situation to the previous questions we've gotten about, like, what if Goku had landed on Beerus' planet and Whis found him?
Yeah.
It's a situation where the rules of the position of Guardian of Earth would dictate that Kami, while he might have an interest in Goku, and the fact that the baby managed to land on the lookout, I don't think that he would keep him, especially since he probably wouldn't know the first thing about caring for a child, nor would Mr. Popo. So what they would do is they would find a good home for him. And knowing Kami, it would probably be someone like Son Gohan, due to the fact that he is, of course, a student of Roshi, who was a student of Mutaito, who was, of course, an acquaintance of Kami, who assisted with the original sealing of Demon King Piccolo. So you'd have a situation where you'd probably have more or less the same thing as canon, except for a situation where Kami would be a little bit more inclined to look in from time to time and check in on Goku's development.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's pretty much what we usually say. Okay. Trench Knife. What if Super Saiyan God and Gohan's ultimate form were the same thing, but from different directions? So basically, Gohan ultimate form and Super Saiyan God were the same thing, but it wasn't like they came from it at different angles. So basically, Gohan gained God Ki inadvertently. So through the ritual. I mean, it'd be interesting.
I mean, having one old man running around our still less troublesome than having, you know, a group of Saiyans for the ritual. So
yeah, that is quite true. So yeah, that would be less troublesome. Jeffrey Brenstetter, the message got retracted, but basically I think it was along the lines of, you know, he got his idea from Marble Zombies. So that was pretty much the thing. No, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Isaiah Frazier, if Ranch Trunks and Goten were in the codename Kids Next Door, Ranch would end up being number one, because she's the most organized out of all of them. And Trunks would be the rogue one. New stream boss. Basically, yeah, it'd be that kind of thing. And they would rope in Marin in there as well, because Marin's got to be in there too.
Yeah.
Blue Tails, what if Goku wasn't a Saiyan, most likely by wish of a Dragon Ball? So basically, yeah, if he ended up being a Saiyan, it was a Saiyan, then became not a Saiyan anymore, he probably would just end up being at that power, and then his increase in strength would be much slower. But yeah,
and if the idea of it is to deny him his Saiyan transformations by having a villain wish him to not be Saiyan with the Dragon Balls or anything like that, I don't think that you could do that, because you got to remember that the wish has to be within Shinron's power or Purunga's power. If someone was going to do that, they'd probably have to use the Super Dragon Balls, which means that they're already powerful enough to find them in the first place. And even then, it's kind of, it's a situation where it's like, would they really go so far when they could do something else and just kill Goku? Because just denying him the power of his Saiyan bloodline, you know, is a little bit far-fetched and abstract, thinking-wise.
if you are powerful enough to gather the Super Dragon Balls, Saiyanness is the least of problems, really.
Yeah. I mean, we already saw that with Zamasu, because they had to literally call in a Deus Ex Machina. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay. So, Unsung Hero. What if Krillin was never in Dragon Ball?
It would be much sadder series.
It'd be much, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking. And then the last one, Lucas Moore. Oh no, it's not the last one anymore. What if Frieza turned Super Saiyan? I mean, it's a bit bizarre, but alright.
How?
How? Unless he said, "Oh,
Well-
I want to gain this power too." He would have to wish for it on the Super Dragon Balls. So basically, if he ended up being...
Now I'm trying to think of what Frieza would look like as a Saiyan character, because
his
it's like,
purple bits would be yellow instead of white and yellow.
well, no, I'm not talking about him still looking like an alien and having a Super Saiyan transformation. I'm saying the only real way you could achieve this sort of situation is to have him become a Saiyan, whether through a wish like a Super Dragon Ball situation or something like that. How would Frieza appear with the form of a Saiyan instead of the form of his Frieza's race?
Yeah, skinny hair, large head.
Yeah.
Think up some designs, guys.
Okay, Bosco, what if the bomb was not removed from Android 16? Well, if it wasn't removed, Cell was genuinely scared. Like, if that had literally blown up, it probably would have actually killed Cell. It would have evaporated him, because Cell was genuinely frightened.
Yeah, the idea of it is that because of the sheer proximity and the sheer amount of power and force that explosive device had, Cell was definitely threatened by it, and it would have spelled a lot of bad things for the Earth in the long run too.
It could have
until
blown
they
up
were
the
able
planet.
to. Well, and even if it didn't, just the sheer fact that it was a nuclear device would have caused a lot of radiation and fallout problems that they would have probably had to very hastily try to fix with the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, no, true.
I can see at least 76 problems that it could cause.
Yeah.
Also, to continue that note, like giving that Dr. Giro put those bombs in those, they have to be able to evaporate his nucleus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meep Slayer. What if Boo absorbed Broly before Earth? Well, the thing is though, with Kid Boo was on Earth. And Boo was, and when Boo was around the galaxy, this was millions of years ago. Broly, Saiyans weren't even a thing. So, unfortunately, that is actually not possible. Because...
And even if you wanted to try and say something like, let's just assume that for whatever reason Broly gets to Earth during the Boo saga, all it would mean would be a negative end for everything. You know, it's one of those what ifs where it's like it's not even really all that interesting, because the sheer amount of power that Boo could get from absorbing Broly is theoretically so strong as to rend the universe asunder, more or less.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And okay, here's the last one now. Bombastic Blake Diamond. 4 ideas. Ugh. What if the Z Warriors learned Kaioken? It would be a lot more balanced and a lot fairer. And why it didn't happen, I have no idea.
Yeah.
What if Fire Mountain didn't burn and Chi-Chi became queen? Well, technically Fire Mountain is still there, and the town around it, which Ox King is the king of. It's just Fire Mountain is like the central pillar. So they probably would just find a way to restart Fire Mountain and keep it under control. And now they've got Goku, who has supercharged lungs. As a Super Saiyan, he could literally just blow it out. With his big lungs and all that. They do some kind of comedic move. What if all the original Dragon Ball movies were canon? I think if they were canon... Well, I mean, 2 of the original Dragon Ball movies were just rehashes of the actual show.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to take certain plot points and say like, oh, well, what if the people who are gathering the blood rubies were canon? It's like, okay, well, all that would be is one more plot to tack on there somewhere in between Pilaf and Red Ribbon Army. And then it's like, okay, Sleeping Princess and Devil's Castle, all that would be is a different introduction for launch. It's probably the one that could fit in the easiest. But I mean... there's really not much to pull from when it comes to those movies, because they didn't come up with the whole proxy concept nearly as hard back then as they went for in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, we've still got 2 more. We're not done yet. So okay, and then Bombastic. What if Turles turned good? Again, that's not really something possible, because Turles is already obsessed with the Tree of Might. And that's not something you're pretty much done if you've been sampling the
And he's
cleared
already
light.
fed upon it.
He's already fed upon it many times, so you're pretty much addicted. So you can't quit that, pretty much.
Yeah.
Kyoshara 1, again. What if Vegeta took Gohan under his wing during the 7-year time skip? I think Vegeta would be able to change Gohan's character considerably during that time and moving forward. Well, the thing is, though, if Vegeta, instead of actually losing a lot of, like, momentum when Goku died, if he decided, okay, I'm going to take Gohan under my wing and we'll train together and we'll both mutually benefit, I think they would definitely... Gohan would be much stronger, or he would stay the same amount of
absolutely.
power, and Vegeta would end up getting Super Saiyan 2 much sooner.
I think the only obstacle to that would be Chi-Chi, but I don't think Vegeta would care all that much.
No, Vegeta would just like say, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm taking Gohan, bye!
Yeah, pretty much. He would just like, he'll bulldoze. He's going to bulldoze that, definitely. Okay.
And even if Gohan had a problem with it or anything like that, I think it wouldn't be hard for them to maintain some kind of training regimen.
Yeah, no, definitely. And now the last one for real this time. Trench Knife, a third Gohan what if. Seeing a pattern. What if Gohan utilized his intelligence and mixed Tekken with his martial arts? Some way? Maybe. But at the same time, human technology is very, very limited. So it would have to be something that Bulma had in her arsenal from all the times that Saiyan pods have come along. So
at the most, I could imagine something that maybe gave him a power amplification of 2 or 3 times, and it would be something similar to like his Saiyaman outfit. Like
pretty much, it'd be just like an amplifier.
Yeah, just a base amplifier, and then when he was forced to power up to higher multipliers, like it would not keep up with the stress, and he'd just have to basically, throw off the excess.
No, definitely. Right, okay, we've been going for 3 hours and 20 minutes. We need to stop.
This is the 3rd time!
No, this is the longest one to date.
But one of the most
guys,
fun, I must say.
We love you. We appreciate you. We appreciate everything you do for us.
Yeah, we really do. We are grateful for this, and we do like all the ideas. It's just there are a lot of them to get through, but it does really help. And it shows that you guys care about this. And there's probably more than 100. Probably near 200. So, yeah, there's a lot of them. Actually, is there a stat thing? I'll be able to find out the stat later, but yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. So thank you guys for your ideas, and we're gonna go to bed. So
yeah,
thank you very much, guys. Take it easy, and we shall see you soon. Bye.
Yeah.
Have a good one.